604 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We are starting off your Monday morning with a cold one. We are starting, not with a cold one. It's cold out. I'm not drinking a beer to start the show. We're starting off your Monday morning cold. 26 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Wow, that went sideways fast.
It did.
We got a big show lined up for you this morning. Whole lot of guests. Let's talk with Tommy Faucheau later on this hour. He's with the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Yesterday's lobby annual meeting, after we were done on the air, digging into a lot of what went down there. I heard a lot about LNG. Heard that LNG is on the comeback. LNG is on the rise. So let's talk about liquefied natural gas with the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. That's coming up later this hour. Also want to talk about AI in the workforce. Josh Fleig from LED joins us at 7:15. We'll have your Crimestoppers segment. The folks from iCare will be stopping by for that. Monroe's mayor, Friday Ellis, he joined us up in Washington for Washington Mardi Gras. And this guy's a star, man. He's definitely on the rise as well, garnering a lot of attention. And that Meta data center just east of Monroe is going to help things out on there's a feather in his cap. We're going to talk with him at 8:15, and then we'll wrap up our guest list with Liz Smith from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. We got some news there too. Right now, though, we start you off with top stories and trending. Let's go.
Number 5.
Number 5 starts us off with our Attorney General, Liz Murrill. Says Louisiana has joined 16 other states in a lawsuit over the Federal Americans with Disabilities Act, alarming advocates for the disabled and prompting concern among parents, students, and students with special needs. Parents of students with special needs. Liz Murrill said yesterday that although the suit asks that courts throw out Section 504 of the ADA, which prohibits entities receiving federal funding from discriminating against people with disabilities, its intent is to attack the addition of gender dysphoria as a protected disability.
Number 4.
Middle District Chief Judge Shelley Dick delivered another blow to former members of the now disbanded Baton Rouge Police Street Crimes Unit and their activities within the secret warehouse known as the Brave Cave. Yesterday, Shelley Dick denied Matthew Wallace and Catherine Alvarado's motions to dismiss a civil suit against them stemming from illegal strip search allegations.
Number 3.
LSU's Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer Kim Lewis resigned from her position Wednesday, according to sources close to the university. Her departure follows that of Winston Dequeer, the university's top attorney, who quit last month. Lewis has served in her roles since February of 2022. Unclear why she resigned.
Number 2.
2 people were taken to the hospital Wednesday evening after a shooting on North 40th Street, according to officials. One patient was taken in critical condition. The other suffered minor injuries. We don't have an update on those conditions or on motive or on suspects.
Number 1.
The Public Service Commission voted to remove Devontae Lewis as vice chairman at a Wednesday morning meeting after Lewis called Governor Jeff Landry an a-hole on social media last week. The commission voted 3-2 to remove Lewis, named commission member Eric Scrametta as the new vice chair. Lewis is still a member of the PSC representing District 3 and probably still thinks Landry's an a-hole. Just saying, he's not going to back off.
Right.
I mean, and I don't know why the thought is that escalated rhetoric is going to make things better.
Yeah.
I feel like Molly Ringwald in The Breakfast Club, you know?
That's one way to put it.
Stop.
Oh man. So he's definitely John Bender then in the movie. No, maybe not.
Man, I can't give him enough credit. Bender's too cool. Devontae
cool.
Lewis is nowhere near that.
Yeah, you're right. I guess I was thinking of Rebellious, but then again, right. He had a cool to him, right? He had a Yeah. Unfortunately, at least 2 people are dead after a midair collision involving 2 small planes in southern Arizona. This is the 4th aviation disaster in North America in the last month, Brian. What is going on?
I don't want to make light of a situation where people have died, but are we this close to going back to clapping when the plane lands safely?
Oh, man.
I know.
And look, is it Is it just that we're more aware now? Is it being
No.
broadcasted more? Or
No.
this is just something that
It's not like
this
there were
is,
a slew of plane crashes dusted under the rug.
I know, right? But it seems so odd that, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Sometimes, it's just, this is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
What else going on?
Hey, Nexus Louisiana's Pitch VR competition returns today, allowing the
Hey.
state's entrepreneurs to showcase their business ideas and compete for a cash prize.
Very cool stuff.
Indeed,
I've
it is.
emceed that gig before.
Yeah.
It's legitimately fun because you see people who this is their passion, man.
Yeah.
This is what they want to do.
Yes, indeed.
Talking yesterday with the incoming chairman of Lobby, Tom
Cox.
Tom Cox.
Yes.
And you tell when you get your passion heading pushing you somewhere, how it just turns everything into motivation and drive, and that comes out in these people at this pitch competition.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I kind of felt the same way listening to him yesterday. I'm like, this guy's on fire, man.
Golf balls,
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah,
Golf balls,
man. Hey, could New Orleans land an NHL expansion team? Well, NHL reporter Kevin Weeks reports, per a conversation he had with NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly, that a group is interested in bringing an expansion team to New Orleans.
This is an idea. Sometimes people say there's no bad ideas. It's a bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I know you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Don't take this one.
Oh.
Don't say, no, there's barely enough market demand to keep the Smoothie King Center full for basketball.
Yeah.
For basketball.
Right.
And hockey, I love what the Zydeco's doing, but what you have to remember is our buy-in is cheap on that end. That is not the price of NHL tickets.
Yeah.
You have and they're still in year 2, okay? Yeah. And they will slowly grow, but the price to get into a Zydeco game versus the price to get into an NHL game are two insanely different things. And
the market just might not be there, right? I don't know. I couldn't see.
And also the requisite number of fans in the stands.
Right. And that's
3,000 people go out to see the Zydeco. That's a good thing. 3,000 people go out to see an NHL team come to New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's a colossal failure.
Yeah.
So you're going to need, a lot more people, butts and seats for sure. But we didn't grow up playing hockey.
Right.
Okay. We grew up playing basketball. We grew up playing baseball. We grew up playing football. You wonder why New Orleans is always going to put out good receivers? It's the craziest theory you're ever going to hear. Yeah. You know why New Orleans is always going to put out good wide receivers?
Tell me.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Mardi Gras.
Okay.
If you can master the route tree while cutting up St. Charles in between a whole bunch of people that are out there to catch a parade, think every Mardi Gras parade you go to, there's kids playing football in the street, right?
Indeed there is.
Yeah. If you can run a button hook in the middle of St. Charles, you can run it in the Southeastern Conference.
That's right.
All right. If you can run an out and up on Louisiana Avenue, you're going to make it in life.
Yeah. Oh man.
You didn't have that. There was no morning when I was growing up. There was no morning where we said, you know what, Lake Pontchartrain is frozen over. Lace up the skates.
Yeah.
You didn't have a whole lot of pickup hockey in Mandeville.
As a kid, I think I was inspired to play hockey. The Mighty Ducks did it for me.
Okay.
Where they started on rollerblades, Yeah. And that was another reference, right? So you have Emilio Estevez in there,
Cross
the Molly Ringwald to the there we go. It all circles back to the Breakfast Club.
Goodness gravy.
That's where we're at now.
I know. Because I said we're going to start the morning with a cold one. That's how that works.
Oh,
we got a break. LSU women's basketball. We're going to talk about it. LSU baseball canceled last night because it's too cold. And oh my God, you know what? We're actually going to talk hockey. It's all coming up next.
Whew. All right. We have any clips here? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
How is this song by a guy?
Gotta get through that. Is that who is that? That's
Daniel Bedingfield.
Oh yeah. I was thinking of a band name, but yeah. Wow, I hadn't heard that dude.
That's a woman though. It's a really good song.
That's that. Oh, I remember it. That's like that Teenage Dirtbag song. Everyone thought was a woman, but it's a guy singing that. It's insane. Gonna get through that. That's those late night, like MTV days. Gotta get through this. God, that's the only part of the song I know.
No, when they transition into that bridge.
Yeah.
You don't do the weather, Chief. You do the traffic. Mm. Rolling over to 617 to talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover here. Let's go ahead and start with this. LSU baseball called it off for last night. They were supposed to be down at Nichols. It was cold, and there's really no reason to play that game last night. So it has been postponed. Will be made up on April 8th. April 8th is when LSU will go down to Nichols. I got to tell you, Nichols was fired up about this one. 3,200 seats in their stadium. They call it stadium the Didier Field. 3,200 seats, been sold out for more than 2 weeks. So I know everybody who has a ticket to that one is looking to turn right back around to for April 8th. Now, they will play Nichols at home on Monday. So that means LSU baseball Tigers will take on Omaha this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Your Friday game will start at 4 p.m., Saturday 2 p.m., Sunday 1 p.m., and then, like I said, you get the Monday game, which was on April 8th, has been moved up to Monday, where Nichols is in the box at home. So the return trip back to Thibodeau won't be till April. Moving over to LSU women's basketball, late tip tonight, the 7th-ranked LSU Tigers are hosting the Georgia Bulldogs. Like I said, 8 p.m. tip-off right here on Talk 107.3 FM. This one has all the makings of being a rout, y'all. LSU comes in at 25-2 on the season, 10-2 in conference play. Georgia 10-16 on the season, 2-10 in conference play. So while LSU is 10-2, Georgia's 2-10, and LSU is coming off of a rough loss that they've had to just let sit there and stew. So now they welcome Georgia in, and Georgia's just primed to get a butt whooping here as the Tigers continue their 50th anniversary season. But you'll hear it right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Meanwhile, this evening is the championship of the Four Nations competition. How about that? U.S. and Canada going at it tonight. And if it's going to be anything like it was the last time around, this should be a whole lot of fun. I know we spent last segment joking about hockey and how it's not a big thing in Louisiana, or at least not something we're born into, and it grows with us. But when the U.S. team and Canadian team squared off earlier in the week, or was it over the weekend? Canada booed the national anthem. And then there were 3 fist fights in the first couple minutes of the game. And then the U.S. went on to win 3-1. And that was in their house. That was in their house. Now they're coming to, I believe it's in Boston, where tonight's game is going to be. And we'll see what the rematch holds. I know I've learned enough to know that traditionally the U.S. does not beat Canada in hockey. But, I mean, they booed the national anthem. You already handled them earlier in the week, and now you got the home ice. So, looking forward to the Four Nations Championship. It's 6:20. Here's the Fox Business Report. Oh, I didn't send you the video. Shoot. That's on me. That's on me.
It's all good.
It's all good. Did I not get this in my email or was it texted to me? Oh, holy hell. I would have sworn this was an email.
Oh, shoot.
We might have to flip flop what we do here versus what we do in the next segment.
Oh, okay.
Because I can vamp on the bitch.
On the LABI?
Yeah. Did she text this to me? Okay, yeah. I'll email you the link. All right, we're still going to do this in the 35 segment. I'll do LABI in this segment.
Okay.
Oh, I got to do traffic first.
We're doing the whole 3-minute video, or is there a certain?
I would like to do the whole 3-minute video.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
A lot of volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs right by the Range Avenue exit. It picks back up again. I mean, as soon as you're up and running, you're up and running, and we're looking good on 12 westbound after Range. You will hit the brakes a good bit as you are near that exit. But once you're out over the Amy River and on into Baton Rouge, you're good all the way till the 10-12 merge. Speaking of the 10-12 merge, let's move it over to 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish. Looks great. I-10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge, not showing any delays there. And I-110 is wide open as well. Surface streets, there are no accidents to report. Actually, traffic from the Shaw Mills Tire Traffic Center. We're coming up on 625 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We've got, I tell you what, before we move forward, let's take a step back. Yesterday was the Louisiana Association of Business and Industries annual meeting. And yesterday it was we caught the announcement of, they're unveiling Louisiana Full Throttle. That was the theme of yesterday's meeting, was Full Throttle. And it's basically an update on the Louisiana Driven program, where it's at, where it's headed, where it needs to be. Also, a keynote speaker at yesterday's meeting was Charles Payne. You know Charles Payne from Making Money with Charles Payne on Fox Business. He did a fantastic job as the keynote speaker. Let me start with Charles Payne. I would walk back through history real quick because this is what he did. If you are worried about tariffs, if you are concerned about tariffs, take a walk back through history and see how they've played out over time, not within the immediate window of like the year that they're imposed, but the 10 to 20 years following. Because, I mean, everything in the economy has to have time to take hold. But he talked about that at length, spending a lot of time on the roaring 20s, especially. Talk about, I mean, how can you have the roaring 20s if things weren't roaring? Okay, I was here for it. But he gave a great speech and really, really highlighted not just the tariffs, but a number of the ways that Louisiana is poised to thrive under a Trump administration. Talking about our different resources, not just the Mississippi River, but everything we have that's in the earth as well. And that can roll us back to a little bit earlier in the morning where there was the panel discussion that was on energy in 2025 and beyond as well. The panel discussion was, Energy Outlook 2025 and beyond. The panel discussion was a great back and forth, and between the panel discussion and Charles Payne and a number of conversations in the big old hallway over there at the Crown Plaza, it just liquefied natural gas was a theme, y'all. It was a theme yesterday that we heard a lot about. So what I want to do here is coming up at 6:50 after we check Your Money Now. We're gonna get Tommy Faucheau on the hotline. He was there. He heads up the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. We'll talk about that. How does it apply? And what kind of time frame are we looking at in real time? What kind of time frame are we looking at in order to see the rewards of any economic success we will get when it comes to LNG? Oh, all right. Back to Lobby's LA Driven program. They gave out a nicely prepared little pamphlet yesterday, or a booklet, I should say, with the updates on the LA Driven program. It breaks down into a number of different categories, and rather than try to bunch everything into one, what I want to do is every day I want to take one category and find a guest who could talk about it at length. The way they break it down, they have one on road conditions. They have one on competitive position. They talk education. Let's back to the competitive position part. They talk about within education, expanding the school to work initiative. Talk about reducing violent crime. Talk about increasing the percentage of third graders reading at or above level, and overall change as well. So instead of trying to read to you a good, what is this, close to a 40-page booklet, 34-page booklet, rather than reading that, I want to unpack it over time and take a look at it section by section. So we will have a slew of guests in the next week or two off of that. We're going to have to hit news coming up in just a minute. Before we get you to our news, and we'll start with ABC before we go local. Before we get to the news, got to remind you about the folks over at the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. BTR to DC, the daily flight is there, y'all. It's so much more convenient. It is a direct flight from our airport to Reagan National, which is, right in the heart of it. I mean, if you're looking at flights to DC, it's always good to remember which airport you're flying into. Reagan is in the thick of it. If you're flying into Dulles, you're flying into the outskirts. You're flying into a place where you're going to have to drive 2 hours to get to the nation's capital. If you're flying to Baltimore, it's slightly worse, except you can get, the train coming in from either one makes it a little bit less, knocks the time off a little bit. But BTR, you fly into Reagan, and that solves that. You don't have to worry about that. when you fly into Reagan, you're what, a 12-minute Uber ride from the Capitol, a 15-minute Uber ride from the Capitol, depending on traffic and whatnot. And it's available right now at flybtr2dc.com, flybtr2dc.com. And it's not just a direct flight to DC that we're talking about, y'all. Flybtr.com has got you set if you're planning the family vacay for the year. If you don't want to throw the tribe into the family truckster like Clark Griswold, you want to get there in short order, flybtr.com. They're available for you. Okay, we got to check news, traffic, weather. We'll start with ABC before we go local, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Oh. Jesus. So loud. Asshole.
What the heck is going on over there?
Hey, I'm gonna send you a video from TikTok.
Okay.
I need you to. I don't want to play it back in its entirety. I need two sound bites from it. One of them is the beginning until he says, "I stole your quarterback." No, I didn't say that.
Mhm.
And then the second one is from when he says, "One bite, everybody knows the rules."
Are we talking about Dave Portnoy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Is that about the pizza review you did in New Orleans?
Geo's, yeah.
Yeah.
How long is it? The whole thing's 3:05. Yes, so from where he says one by everyone's rules, this is Super Bowl week, however it opens there. All the way through when he says, yeah, all the way through where he says this is like a true Philly, New York, New Jersey, Boston style pizza. Bump, bump, bump. Bump, bump.
All right, let's see what we get. Oh, dang, you already sent it.
Yeah.
Crap. That was quick. Shoot, let me see.
Yeah, that's why I need you to play it and dub it. So it.
Yeah,
know
that's
what
why
I'm
I'm gonna try to, without interfering with that.
No, wait till we get the news. It's 7:00.
Oh,
The whole-
this isn't something you need. Like
no,
right-
no, no. This
oh.
is 7:55. I don't need it till 7:55.
Oh, okay. I thought this was like
No.
soon. Oh, okay. Well, then yeah, I got that.
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Oh, okay. I was worried. I was like, oh shoot.
Oh, and you've got the Landry video, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I got it queued up.
Yeah, no. This is a one-off for the end of the 7:00 hour because I don't feel like doing the budget story twice. Actually, you know what? I might throw out the outside in because this happened in Metairie, so this will be the outside in. You got till the end of the show.
Okay.
All right.
I'll definitely have it done before then. But yeah, I was just thinking it was gonna be sooner. Cool. Yeah. No problem.
Why does Dave Portnoy say one bite, everybody knows the rules, and then proceed to take 4 bites?
I love it. He judges it on the first bite, but he's still like,
Well, but he also goes back to bite the crust
Yeah.
as well because
Yeah.
that factors into it.
right, exactly.
Oh, yes, it is cold to start off the morning here with your full forecast. WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. No workplaces. That sucks.
Random now.
638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. This is normally the time where we would have Haggai Davis on for a cup of tech gumbo, but man, poor Haggai is spent. He is down for the count right now, regrouping, recouping, and we'll hopefully be back on next week. I don't think he'd mind me sharing what's going on in his personal life because he shared it a little bit as well. But Haggai had a busted water line on something. I don't know if it's the washing machine or the dishwasher. I'm not remembering which right now. But basically, he had to redo the entire house, like all the floors. And then you remember the movie? I'm sorry, the book. If you give a mouse a cookie, if you give a mouse a cookie, you're gonna have to get him a glass of milk. And if he gets a glass of milk, he's gonna want a straw. And like everything.
One thing after another.
Right. So when it comes to fixing the house after the busted water line, well, I mean, obviously you're going to need a washer and dryer. And of course you're going to need new floors. And if you're getting new floors, you might as well get new cabinets. And if you're going to get new cabinets, you probably should paint the walls. And if you're going to paint the walls, you probably need to paint the doors. If you paint the doors, let's look the outside as well. Like if you give a mouse a cookie of home renovation is what Haggai's been going through for the last 3 weeks. And you know what happened last night? He went home. He got home after extended stays in not hospitals, hotels, and with relatives. God forbid, hotels and with relatives. He finally was back in his own bed. So hopefully he's not even hearing this right now. Hopefully he is snoring loudly. So we'll have that guy back on for a cup of tech gumbo next week. And the truth of the matter is, we need him on. We need him on because I'm sure you saw on your Facebook page. Oh, where the hell did it go? The alert coming in from Facebook. Download or transfer your live videos to keep them. Starting May 20th, your Facebook live videos older than 30 days will be deleted. If you want to keep your lives, you could do one of the following. Download your lives all at once to your device, transfer your live videos to a destination, or you can click on the link to learn more. And that's the lives. I honestly, after 30 days, I don't know that I care, you know?
Yeah.
Although we have gone back to them before to pull audio. So we might have to worry about this.
That's maybe on a personal level, maybe not, but maybe on a professional level.
Yes, on a professional. Oh no, that's the last thing we need is like every micro influencer out there. Guys, I'm at Nordstrom Rack right now. I don't need that live feed. But if we have the governor on talking about the budget, that's a different story. Now, this is not live for this, what's coming up here. But I'm segueing into the governor talking about the budget because Governor Jeff Landry did put out his budget. Looks like it's about $1 billion under last year. He put out a video yesterday, and we are efforting to have the governor on tomorrow morning. Hopefully, if not, it'll have to roll over to Monday or Tuesday. But efforting to have the governor on tomorrow morning to talk about the budget at length. And along with putting out the budget, he put out a little video that went along with it. It's about 3 minutes long, so longer than just a regular soundbite. But roll with it. Here's Governor Jeff Landry.
Hi, everyone. Governor Jeff Landry here. With the help of the legislature during my first term as governor, we made major progress. We introduced the largest single jobs and economic development project in the history of our state with the Meta investment in North Louisiana. We changed our criminal justice system so that it focuses more on victims than criminals, putting criminals behind bars. Our education reforms are giving us the best test scores in a generation. We provided the largest tax cut in our state's history. And that work will continue with a yes vote from you on Amendment 2 in a statewide election on March 29th. Your vote will be a vote to gain a permanent tax cut, a permanent teacher pay raise, and a permanent government growth limit. All of this is in addition to the fiscally responsible budget passed during our first year in office. As we begun to rein in runaway government spending $2 billion less than the previous year. Now this week, my administration will further this work in presenting the fiscal 2026 budget. This budget was built on the goal of flat funding for this fiscal year when compared to last year, and continues the trend of decreasing the overall amount of money that we spend. This is a tremendous step forward for fiscal responsibility. This new budget will allow us to use any new revenue on non-reoccurring expenditures, such as continuing to lower the personal income tax rate even further, or by making investments in critical state infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, water, and sewer systems. This was accomplished by finding efficiencies in government, including saving over $11 million in the Louisiana Department of Health, over $1 million of savings in the Department of Energy and Natural Resources, $2.3 million worth of savings at the Division of Administration, and there's still more work to be done. That is why I created a fiscal responsibility program, and I've appointed a budget czar to review government expenditures and to seek even greater efficiencies in government. I conducted a similar review as the Attorney General, and we achieved great results back then. I expect we'll find even greater results in this new fiscal czar. I continue to be focused on turning our state around, working with my team, the legislature, and our people to make Louisiana a great state with a growing economy and strong revenue. To accomplish this, we must continue to make these types of structural reforms. I believe our budget once again sets us on the right path towards fiscal responsibility and shared prosperity. I look forward to working with the legislature to achieve these goals. It's going to be a great year.
All right, that was Governor Jeff Landry talking about the upcoming budget that's put out. A couple of highlights from that. Number one, decreasing the state's total funds by $1 billion when including carry forwards. I'm reading from the press release, by the way. Decreasing total state funds by over $400 million, excluding carry forwards, and then federal funds increasing because of efficiencies in the Restore program. So, running through all that, some tweaks along the way. But you heard what he said right there. A lot of the moving forward, a lot of the progress that, and I want to give Jeff Landry credit, but I really want to give the state legislature credit. A lot of the progress that they've seen, if we want to continue it, is contingent upon you and me going to the polls on March 29th and voting yes for proposition or for the proposed amendment number 2. There's 4 constitutional amendments on the upcoming ballot on March 29th. And there's very little reason to turn out. If you look at things in terms of like, am I voting for president? No. Senate? No. House? No. Mayor? No. We've got constitutional amendments. I know it's not sexy. It doesn't blow anybody's skirt up. But if you want your bank account to be a little bit fatter, because one of the things that got done in the last legislative session was they lowered the income tax down to a flat 3%, but had to bump up state sales tax in order to do it. If you want to see that bump in state sales tax roll back off again, you got to cut them loose to find other cuts under their spending instead of just healthcare and higher ed all the time. Proposed Amendment 2 does that. One of the things we were talking about yesterday at the lobby meeting was you don't have to like the current administration, but you do have to acknowledge the fact that we are on the highway right now. We are driving. This ties in with Louisiana Driven. We are driving right now. The vehicle's in motion. What they got rolling with tax cuts is in motion. Now, if you vote no on Proposition 2, what you're doing is kicking the driver out of the driver's seat because the car's still going, but there's no one to direct it. And that's what's on. That's what's coming up. So anyway, Governor Jeff Landry, hopefully, fingers crossed, tomorrow or Monday at the latest. We are coming up on 747 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. While we're talking about unpacking a little more of Lobby's meeting from yesterday, let's go ahead and do that. We'll take a quick break. We'll check traffic. We'll check your money now. When we come back, Tommy Faucheau from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association joins us next. You need Tommy's number. Tommy. Shit, I didn't even get to the budget czar. You know what I'd like to see in this world? If we're going to have a budget czar or there's going to be a national drug czar, yeah. I would like to see us agree on a spelling of the word czar. I've always spelled it T-Z-A-R.
It's C-Z-A-R, right?
Some people spell it C-Z-A-R, others spell it T-S-A-R. There are 3 correct spellings of the word czar.
And they're all correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like us to agree. T-Z-A-R was the traditional spelling of a Russian emperor before the revolution. What was it, 1910, 1917, something like that? Sure. But the old Russian czars, that was T-Z-A-R or T-S-A-R.
Yeah.
And now if you got like, oh, he's the budget czar, it's CZAR.
Yeah.
So I would
Yeah, true.
yeah.
And
It's like we never agreed. I'm going to steal from Aaron Sorkin here real quick. It's like we never agreed on how to spell Gaddafi.
was the same way with LaBeouf.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yes.
way. Like mine has a capital B. Some people don't have a capital B.
Well, I say Thibodeau.
Yeah.
Thibodeau is just AUX, not EAUX.
Yep.
What are we doing? Your money now.
Oh my gosh, what am I doing? See, we're talking.
I know. I know.
Lose focus.
Where is it?
Let's see.
Oh, it's playing. Okay.
Yeah. It's just when
I'm
my
not
mic's
hearing
on.
it? Okay.
Yeah. It's on.
Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom.
Yeah, but yeah, same thing.
How long does it take to ship a king cake?
Ship a king cake
Yeah.
from where?
From like Baton Rouge to like somewhere else in the nation. Shouldn't take long. Like if I were to go send one today to a friend who doesn't live here, would it get there before Mardi Gras? Is it too late to ship a king cake? Is what I'm asking. Facebook, is it too late to ship a king cake? We get 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Just under 2 weeks.
Huh. Tried a different king cake last night. Bavarian cream king cakes. That was
Bavarian cream isn't. Yeah. Do you like it?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything chocolate though. They had one with brownies on top. I was like, oh my goodness. But
That's too much.
it's a lot of sugar, man. But the Bavarian cream, oh my goodness.
Yeah, at a certain point, it ceases to be a king cake.
Yeah, it's just a big donut at that point.
Right.
It's like a
well,
an
yeah,
eclair.
Bavarian cream makes it an eclair. Yeah, but the donut's not going to have the same cinnamon dough that.
Yeah,
you know.
But it's good.
.652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So, as I've been saying through the morning, yesterday's lobby annual meeting, you heard the term LNG quite a bit. So I said, well, you know what? We need to unpack that. Let's welcome in Tommy Faucheau from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Tommy, how are you, man?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning. Glad to have you on. Let's talk a little bit about, first of all, your takeaways from yesterday.
You know, every time Lobby has their annual meeting, it's a great event because it brings all of our business leaders, local, state government officials. I mean, it just brings everyone together to talk about one mission.
Yeah.
Moving the business community of this state forward, which we know drives the state's economy. And so hats off to Will Green and the entire Lobby team for another great event. And it was just good to see so many people that, you know, we honestly don't get to see that often all in one place.
Outside of Washington Mardi Gras, no.
That's right. Exactly.
It was like a little, the hallway at the Crown Plaza was a little bit like the lobby at the Washington Hilton, minus the national contacts. That's the only thing that's missing from yesterday.
That's right. But look, I would make a point here. Don't think those on the national level don't watch when we all get together, because that crowd there yesterday has a force.
Oh, yeah.
And it's for good.
Yep. When it comes to liquefied natural gas, it's, I mean, not to quote Zoolander, but so hot right now. I heard the term, if I heard it once, I heard it a dozen times.
Yeah, you know, look, LNG right now, LNG has consistently been important. And of course, we all are aware of what the Biden administration did with their LNG pause. But make no mistake, the LNG industry in Louisiana has been just continuing to do its best to serve the energy needs around the world. And Biden administration, you know, tried to slow that down a little bit. President Trump, Secretary Wright, Department of Energy, clearly making a statement early on in their new administration that we're not going to continue that policy. LNG It needs to be sent around the world. It's good for America's energy independence. It's good to help allies around the world. And as you heard yesterday, and as we've seen here recently with the Trump administration moving forward with the Commonwealth LNG permit, the Biden pause, ban, whatever you want to call it, is over, and we're moving forward.
Okay, so the Biden pause, the Biden ban, however it's described, what does it take to get from permitting to production? What are we looking at within the industry on when it comes to timeline to get things back up to full speed?
So look, like I said, the industry didn't stop
Right.
during the Biden years. And so, this is about future capacity, continuing to grow an industry that is just really, really hot. And quite honestly, we've talked often about the importance of LNG in this show and other places. That natural gas is needed. It's needed around the world to meet the growing energy demand of the globe. And so, luckily, the pause was somewhat short-lived as we were in a one-term Biden administration. So, I think the industry will continue to just continue to export, continue to grow. Hopefully, we haven't really seen the lapse will not have been long enough to lead to really any slowdown. I think what we want here is to know that not just during the next 4 years, but for decades to come, the LNG industry, the natural gas industry, will continue to be able to invest. And so quickly moving back to a place to where companies can apply and be permitted in normal order, I think we won't see a disruption, but hopefully we'll see a quicker pace of expansion.
Well, and perhaps I asked the wrong question. I asked what it would take to get back to full speed. Let me ask this: what's going to look like to redefine full speed? Because that timeline is, you're talking more jobs, you're talking more permits, you're talking more, construction. What does the timeline look like to redefine full speed?
Yeah, look, I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. I mean, you have a lot of LNG companies who continue to sign contracts to be able to export their product. Now that that there's an environment favorable for expansion, of course, all those companies will operate on their own timeline, but they're free and uninhibited to go look for, new consumers, new partners to sign deals with, to be able to, know that they will have a market for their product, a decade or two into the future. And so I think, what does it ultimately look like 4, 5, 10 years from now? I think, it's to be determined, but what we know is that the need for American energy and the need particularly for natural gas is only going to increase over the next 25 to 30 years. So if the world needs it and we know that we have it, the sun is rising on that. And I think, that's going to be particularly good for American energy policy, and that, strong American energy policy, the type of policy we see coming out of the new administration or the second Trump administration, ultimately leads to economic growth here in Louisiana as we support the industry. So, I think a redefining, I don't know what ultimately it looks like, but I know it looks good, and I know that the future is bright. How about that?
That nails it. That is absolutely what I was asking for. All right, Tommy, next time we talk, I want to talk about what it's going to take to distribute here, because yes, there is a growing need, and we are going to see where Europe especially is going to have their hand raised. So next time we chat, we'll focus in on that front.
Sounds good.
Good deal. He's Tommy Faucheau from the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Always appreciate the time, man.
Good to have you, Brian. Take care.
You, absolutely. We're coming up on 7 o'clock at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. And I was talking about king cakes during the break. Mathern's has got you covered on the king cake front, y'all. Less than 2 weeks to go until Mardi Gras Day. If you've not yet brought a king cake into work, shame on you. If you've not made everybody around the office say, oh, just a little piece, just a little piece. Remind everybody just how long this carnival season is. Bring a king cake to work and grab it from Mathern's on Nicholson. They've got traditional. They've got filled. They have got the fancy. I did a Cookie Monster king cake about a week ago. Decadence and delicious. Mathurin's, they're on Nicholson, right across the street from Tiger Stadium. They're also downtown on 3rd Street. If you they're your home they're your home all carnival season long. It's Mathurin's. Here comes news. I was about to do there was a Super Bowl commercial with oh god, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was like wearing all gold and he was he
The recent one?
no, this
Super-
was years ago. And I opted away from it because it was such a deep cut that I didn't think he was going to get it.
Yeah.
Let me find it. I can't remember the guy's name who was in it. It was a Super Bowl commercial it was at least a decade ago. It was a commercial for DirecTV. And there's a Russian guy. And it starts off with him going, opulence, I has it. And then he's just like everything's gold. He has a tiny giraffe. It's so over the top. That's where I was going with that one. And I'm like, at the last second, I'm like, no one's gonna get that reference.
I see it.
Who was that guy? Opulence, I has it.
I don't know who is that actor? I don't know. I'm watching it right now. I see it, but I don't know. Why is the actor not
Timothy V. Murphy. Opulence.
I like this. This one. But I also like savings the money.
Savings the money.
Tell me, 5 months free for most premium televisions package. I jump in it.
It's like a little giraffe or something. Like,
That is just more on the facing book. Oh.
Tiny gold giraffe. That's it.
Tiny gold giraffe. Yep. Paul Gray. Paul, are we doing a 30th? And who do we need to talk to get this kicked in the butt? Patrick says, so Kaiser and Tsar come from Caesar. I was associated Tsar with Russia. Galen says ADTB is a lot of data and hard to back up. Is that why data centers are going to be all the rage?
Could be.
They're basically, we're talking like online mini storages. If you want to keep shit you don't really need to keep. Oh, Galen. Okay. Galen says, anybody else following the shit show at the second harvest of Greater New Orleans? I stumbled across this story last night. I have not committed to it. I've not dug in on it yet. But yes, it looks like it's got all the makings. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. Are we openly admitting it has been that long? Maybe we have it as a destination event. I have no problem admitting it's been 30 years since I graduated high school, since we graduated high school. And destination sounds awesome. Although, okay, most of the guys still live in Covington, though. So, like, for them, it's no big deal to roll out to Hunter Field on a Friday night. I can't tell you the last time I was down there. And I sure as shit don't know the last time I saw a game. Actually, no, I do know the last time I saw a game. It was at Memorial Stadium, and St. Paul's damn near pulled out against Catholic High, but didn't. So yeah, destination would be awesome, but I would love to go home. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. 25 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. On the way up to 44 before it's all said and done today. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. We got us a busy second hour, y'all. We're talking with Josh Fleig in our next segment. Want to talk about AI and the workforce. AI and creating the workforce, molding it. AI's competition with the workforce. All of it. Josh is with LED. He's going to join us in about 10 minutes from right now. Also this hour, the folks from iCare are going to be by for Crimestoppers. But before we get to anything else, top stories and trending.
Number 5.
What if I told you there's a new bookstore coming to town?
Ooh.
A bookstore, a brick and mortar bookstore. Now that sounds great, except you got to close one to open another. Barnes and Noble is moving one of their Baton Rouge stores. They're moving from their location in City Place over to a spot in Town Center. That City Place location has been there for golly, right, just about as long as I've been in Baton Rouge, so pushing 30 years now. Barnes and Noble's still over by Perkins Row. Of course, they got the LSU campus location as well. This is just going to move them up corporate.
Number 4.
Middle District Chief Judge Shelley Dick delivered another blow to former members of the now disbanded Baton Rouge Police Street Crimes Unit and their activities within a secret warehouse known as the Brave Cave. On Wednesday, Dick denied Matthew Wallace and Catherine Alvarado's motions to dismiss a civil lawsuit against them stemming from illegal strip search allegations.
Number 3.
LSU Executive Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer Kim Lewis resigned from her position Wednesday, according to sources close to the university. Her departure follows that of Winston DeQuire, university's top attorney, who quit last month. Lewis has served in her roles since February of 2022. Unclear as to why she resigned.
Number 2.
2 people were taken to the hospital Wednesday evening after a shooting on North 40th Street, according to officials. One patient was taken in critical condition. The other suffered minor injuries.
Number 1.
The Public Service Commission voted to remove Devontae Lewis as vice chairman at a Wednesday morning meeting after Lewis called Governor Jeff Landry an a-hole on Twitter last week. The commission voted 3-2 to remove Lewis and named commission member Eric Scrametta vice chair. Lewis is still a member of the PSC, representing District 3.
Well,
I mean, just, you think the 3 people that voted to remove him, you think he called them a-holes too?
he may have. He just might not have been as public with
Yeah.
it.
Could have scaled it down, cleaned it
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, as far as trending stories go, unfortunately, at least 2 people are dead after a mid-air collision involving 2 small planes in southern Arizona. This is the 4th aviation disaster in North America in the last month.
In the last month. I know. It's a lot, and they're all unique. They're all something completely different.
Right.
I mean, we had was it 2 days ago or it was earlier this week where the plane upon landing flipped over, had its wings ripped off. And it was actually a good thing that the wings ripped off, or else the whole thing would have caught fire because that's where the fuel was kept. Then you got this one with the 2. These were 2 small planes, right?
Were they private planes?
Yeah.
Or was it?
Yeah, very
was.
private planes. They didn't share much about themselves. Sorry. Let's keep moving.
You know what? Speaking of, you know what? No, I don't. I can't.
No, keep
Texas,
moving.
Louisiana's Pitch BR competition returns today, allowing the state's entrepreneurs to showcase their business ideas and compete for a cash prize.
I've emceed this event before, and it is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So awesome. I love this thing. It fires me up. And here's why. Entrepreneurship is so bold, so ballsy.
Yeah.
I mean, jumping off that cliff, diving in,
going
saying,
for it.
this is what I want to do. This is my passion. And world be damned, I'm taking it on.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. A little bit of envy right there. A little jealous.
A little jealous.
A little jealous.
Oh. Hey, could New Orleans land an NHL expansion team? Well, NHL reporter Kevin Weeks reports, per a conversation he had with NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daley, that a group is interested in bringing an expansion team to New Orleans.
Okay. Last hour, we discussed how this is a terrible idea.
Right?
This hour, I want to put it out to the Facebook Live crowd. I need your comments. I need your feedback. What would you name it? What would you name it? I've got a name in mind. I'll share it at the end of the show.
Sounds
good. There's a deep cut. He said it's not the normal name. You know what you're going to hear. You know, you're going to hear crew with a K.
Right.
Like a Mardi Gras crew, which, by the way, should have been what they would have named the Pelicans.
Mm.
You know, you might hear Rue. Yeah.
We know it won't be Ponchatoula. So.
No. You might hear Hurricanes.
Hurricanes?
Although there's already Hurricanes in the league, isn't there? In the NHL?
There may be.
I think so. Anyway,
yeah.
You're going to hear a bunch of the traditional. I got one that I think it's going to be a little bit of a deep cut. You have to think about it a little bit, but the logo would be so badass.
There you go, man. Throwing out some ideas.
End of the show, we'll drop that on you. But put your suggestions up on our Facebook Live feed if you don't mind. Nobody's saying this is a good idea. What we're saying is like a good improv class, embrace the bit. Embrace the premise.
Yes.
By the premise, by the bit, right? Okay. Assume the position that this is going to happen. What would you name it?
Fire away.
Yep. 7-11 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Do you have your lunch plans solidified yet? Lunar New Year is here, y'all. Swing by PF Chang's. It is the year of the snake. Year of the snake. And celebrating the Lunar New Year now through April 1st, PF Chang's is offering free shrimp or pork dumplings with a purchase of $40 or more. So basically, if you want to take a coworker or two out to lunch, bam, you got yourself an appetizer on top of that is what we're talking about. And don't forget, dumplings aside and Lunar New Year aside, Chang's has always got great specials throughout the day. The bar menu, the patio menu, probably shouldn't mention patio when it's 25 degrees outside, but it's there because it won't be 25 degrees a couple days from now. The ambiance inside, the service is all fantastic. And y'all know I'm a Mongolian beef guy. I like to spice it up a little bit on top of that. When I take Christy, she loves the chicken lettuce wraps, but there's never been anything on that menu that we haven't absolutely adored. From the appetizers all the way through getting the great wall of chocolate for dessert. You know where to find them. They're in Town Center, just off Corporate Boulevard, by the new Barnes & Noble. Not next door, but close. It's PF Chang's. All right, Kate's out the blocks here. Oh, Paul's got pothole puckers. I love it. All right, Kate says the Rougarou. Kate says the Rougarou. And that was what my very first thought was, the Rougarou. But I got to reach out to Ronnie Rance and see if he's got that trademark on lockdown. The Rougarou is the Collegiate Summer League baseball team here in Baton Rouge. So if Ronnie doesn't have that trademark on lock, he's going to be in a world of hurt. Even if he wants to trademark it and sell it, which that's a Ronnie move right there. Yeah. Who is? Okay. Yeah. That's what I said, Matt. And hey, Matt should know firsthand because Matt's won tickets to that game before. Huh? Hey, yeah, Ronnie owns the Rougarou right now, but I bet if he put that trademark on lock and they wanted to pay him for it, that's a Ronnie move. That is a smart move. You're not selling the costume as well. Not there yet. Hang on. All right. 7:15 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. All right, coming up tomorrow, actually, tomorrow, there is going to be a symposium at LSU on AI and the effects on the workforce. Well, I'm curious about this because what we've learned with AI so far, either through a Cup of Tech Gumbo or any other segment we've had talking about it, if you don't use it, you lose to it. So how do you stay ahead of the curve? Joining us now is the Chief Innovation Officer from Louisiana's Economic Development Department. That would be Josh Fleig. Josh, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on here this morning. Glad to be talking about this topic because, I mean, this is not hyperbole in saying it, this is the future.
Amen. It's here. It's I mean, it's not even the future. It's the present. It's this stuff is
very true.
This stuff is impacting us every day. I mean, I look, and I'm not a computer scientist, but I use it every day. It just makes my life easier, makes my job easier. I get things done faster.
Yep.
It's here, man.
So let's pivot this conversation over to a workforce discussion. The symposium tomorrow. What give us the bullet points for tomorrow and a little bit about what folks will hear.
Yeah. So LSU and some of the super smart professors at LSU that are thinking about AI and the impacts of AI and you know how to research AI and how to build workforce and businesses around it are putting together a symposium tomorrow to begin this conversation. How do we grab our share of AI? How do we make sure we're at the table so that we're not eaten up by it? That we have some control of our own destiny. When it comes to how it's going to change the world, and no one knows the answers yet, right? But I think it's about constantly having our leaders, our researchers in the conversation, thinking about it, planning for it, figuring out where we're going to enter the race.
This conversation is going to go into a couple of different angles here. The first of those angles is utilizing AI to develop a better workforce. Utilizing AI in the hiring process. I mean, if dating apps can use AI to make better couples, can't employers use AI to find better employees?
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think we're in a phase right now, and this is going to go on for who knows how long, but where these are really productivity tools, right? So, like, we should be thinking about how we just upgrade, our workers, our state to be more competitive in the global race. And so, and you look at some of the data in Louisiana. Louisiana is not unlike other states where most of our state is driven by small business. Like 65% of the state is a small business, or people are employed by small business. And when you look at the productivity levels of those small businesses, they're actually pretty good compared to other states. But how can we be better? So I think it's about leveraging these tools to be more productive. It's not about replacing human beings. I think humans are going to be in the loop for a very long time. But we got to start doing it now. This is moving faster than anything we've ever seen. And so small businesses, big businesses should be working on it now and should be playing with these tools now.
We're talking with Josh Fleig from Louisiana's Economic Development Department. He's the Chief Innovation Officer over there. Got a symposium coming up tomorrow out at LSU talking about AI in the workforce. All right. So from the matchmaking perspective, let's move over to the job description perspective, because I think this is where, if you're a business owner, most of your time will be eaten up by, in the short term, you got to invest the time into figuring out how to utilize it the right way to make sure it's implemented on the job the right way. So what does the utilization of AI look like in creating job description for potential employers?
Oh, man. Look, it's the first time that you can put garbage into software and get something better out.
Yes.
I mean, we've all been here, right? We've all stared at a blank spreadsheet or, some sort of a customer relations database software, something, and it's only as good as what you put in it. AI is different. So if I feed AI information, it finishes baking it for me, right? It helps to put some structure and some organization. So having, small businesses can leverage this stuff out of the gate to just improve everything they do, whether it's writing a job description, whether it's project managing stuff, whether it's organizing their unstructured information, and easily and cheaply. So everyone should be using it to just be more productive today.
Okay. let's pivot over towards a little bit about what AI actually is, because that is a very all-encompassing definition for something that could be as easily as data retrieval to, I mean, building out a robot that's going to replace somebody.
Yep.
So give me a definition or two of what AI is as it would apply to a small business owner.
Yeah. So as it would apply to a small business owner, I really think we're talking about what we call generative artificial intelligence. And these are the platforms that we've all seen, like ChatGPT or Gemini, where you're effectively entering a prompt and you're asking, some web-based software to do something for you, write something, create some code, tell you an Excel formula, whatever it is. And it spits out a very good, very structured, very detailed answer. And it does that because it has consumed as much available knowledge and information that exists in the world. Billions and billions of parameters of structured writing and studies and research and language, so that it can reconstruct or mimic, how humans speak and how humans talk. So it does a phenomenal job of that. And so those are the tools that the small business can use today. I think I pay for my ChatGPT subscription myself, and it's like $20 a month, and it just turbocharges my day, honestly. So that's generative AI is what I think we're talking about. Is when people say AI today, it's because generative AI and ChatGPT put it on the map for everyone. Right. But AI has been around for 40, 50 years. This is just an evolution of computing, is to have a computer do things for us, right? So that we could do less. I don't know if you saw the news, but we announced that Waymo is beginning to test their self-driving cars in New Orleans this week. And that's autonomous driving. That's artificial intelligence. That is a computer using LiDAR sensors, using camera sensors to determine what to avoid and how to obey traffic signals and signs and street rules. And so that's absolutely AI, but it's not the same thing as ChatGPT. You're right.
We're talking with Josh Fleig, the Chief Innovation Officer at Louisiana's Economic Development Department. Yeah, I saw the news about the self-driving cars in New Orleans. I mean, if I had to pick, I would opt for self-filling potholes, but
I'm with you. I live right in the middle of New Orleans as well. I could not agree more.
There's so many variables when it comes to a self-driving car, and I cannot imagine. It's going to be interesting to see it play out. It's going to be interesting to watch it and see it play out. So
yeah, and these guys they're look at their core. They're mega nerds, right? These are computer scientists who want to solve these big challenges. And so we started talking with the Waymo guys, back in the fall, and they presented some dates where they want to start testing in New Orleans to us. And my immediate reaction was, yeah, these are cool, but you might want to avoid Mardi Gras. It's kind of a mess for ride hailing and just getting around the city. And, they took that information back to their engineers and came back about a week later and said, no, that's absolutely when we want to launch, because we want to understand how our cars and how our computers can deal with large, unruly crowds that don't obey street signs and street laws. And I said, well, welcome to New Orleans during Mardi Gras.
100%. Then, yeah, because the self-driving cars will be the only ones that obey the no left turn signs.
That's right. That's right. Which, if you've been in one of them, it's kind of the frustrating part about it. Is it's like they're too lawful, and it drives you a little bit. They don't come to that rolling stop at the stop sign, and it kind of aggravates the hell out of you.
I got a couple minutes left with Josh Fleig from LED talking about AI and the workforce. I want to move over to the next topic would be obviously adoption and who is going to utilize it. I mean, I could very easily see a number of small business owners in Louisiana saying, you know what, darn it, I've done it my way 30 years. I'm not going to change my ways. How do we work on the sell, the sales pitch for adopting AI?
Yeah, that's a good one, man. We're working on a plan through our department, through LED, with some federal funds that were granted to us a few months ago. To roll out AI to 5,000 small businesses across Louisiana, and that's kind of the design challenge we're dealing with right now. To your point is how do we get adoption? How do we drive that? How do we build an army of implementers across the state that can help us go into these small businesses, figure out which tools they need, figure out how to get them to use them. Not only during the training and the implementation, but how do they keep using them? How does it actually, at the end of the day, kind of impact their bottom line? Part of figuring this out is the juice worth the squeeze, and does it really move the needle? And so that's why I'm trying to work with LSU on this to understand that, right? To attach some research to figure out, do these tools impact our economy? Does it make our small businesses more productive? And is it creating jobs because we're more productive and we're selling more things, or is it replacing people yet? I don't think anybody knows the answer to this stuff yet, but that's the experiment we're launching, later this year.
Well, and there's another side of this where, I got to bring the whole broadband movement in as well. Vineeth Iyengar doing phenomenal work, mapping out where we're going to implement broadband throughout the state. So, I mean, it's quite possible that there's, some, let's say a small grocery store owner in an unbelievably small town in Louisiana has no idea what's going into his pricing. And then over the course of the next year could get broadband and implement AI and completely revamp everything he's doing to increase his sales, all through the use of technology.
That's right. And so this is the dollars that I'm talking about come through that BEAD program, which Vineeth runs. So we work very closely with Vineeth and Connect Louisiana, their broadband office, because those guys were responsible for rolling out the extension of these networks. Our responsibility is to come in and help small businesses at the end point of these new networks. And so you're right. I mean, whether you're a small town grocery store in Louisiana, or you're a charter fishing captain in Venice,
yeah.
How is this going to help you? So we're not even in the first inning of this, but it's we're at the planning phases of how we're going to roll it out, how we're going to get these guys to adopt these tools, and then attaching some sort of an actual real study to it to figure out, is it working? Is it moving the needle for the people of Louisiana?
Symposium's coming up tomorrow. If folks want to learn more about it, where can they go?
Great question, actually. I believe you can get there through the LSU School of Business website. Andrew Schwartz is the professor at LSU who's putting all of this together, and was kind enough to invite me on there. So I'm a participant in an LSU event tomorrow, and excited to be there. I'm a Tiger as well, Brian. So anytime I get invited to do something on campus, I say yes.
He is Josh Fleig, the Chief Innovation Officer over at LED. Man, we always appreciate your time. Not going to be your last trip on this show, man. Had a lot of fun here.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you.
Always. Yep, absolutely. We are at 728 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We have got to hit news coming up in just a little bit. We'll hit traffic. We'll hit weather. On the back end of that, the folks from iCare are in for our Crimestoppers segment. That's going to be right after news, traffic, and weather. Before we get you to news, traffic, and weather, of course, got to remind you, Talk 107.3 and Citizens Bank and Trust want to help cover your car payments. It's a $5,000 grand prize we got up there, along with a bonus chance to win free car washes from Benny's for 6 months. We're also letting you earn extra entries by subscribing to our Talk 107.3 Baton Rouge YouTube channel. You can sign up now at visittalk1073.com. All right. We got 2 minutes until news. All right. We're going to talk budget again in a little while. Go back to the top of the page there. As we covered it, we had Governor Jeff Landry put out a video yesterday talking about the next budget. Looks like it's going to be saving us $1 billion, or down by $1 billion. We'll cover that before we get this hour over with. Also, before the show is over with, the ripple effects of the Super Bowl continue down in New Orleans. And it starts at a pizza joint in Metairie. One bite, everybody knows the rules. You know where I'm going with that. We'll have that before the show is over as well. Also, don't forget, we are still taking your submissions. The horrible idea to bring an NHL team to New Orleans is out there. What would you name it? What would you name it? Post that answer up over on our Facebook Live feed. Before we get you to news, let me remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. Talk about having no problem adopting technology. The folks at Landmark Bank do that, but they're not all about the tech. They're all about the people. And they're all about the relationships. And they've been around for over 100 years. You'll find them in Zachary. You'll find them in Greensburg. You'll find them in Clinton. You'll find them in Denham. You'll find them in Bruley. The Bruley location's open on Highway 1. You don't just want a bank. Whether you're a business owner or you're talking about your own personal finances, you don't just want a bank. You want a banker. Landmark Bank, this is where they thrive. This is where they excel in making sure that you don't just have a bank, you have a banker. Someone you can walk in and shake hands with, someone you could sit down and talk with, someone who can help map out your business's future with you financially. Check them out online at landmarkbankla.com, landmarkbankla.com. You're not going to find a location within the city limits of Baton Rouge, and that's by design. Don't just have yourself a bank, have yourself a banker. Start building that relationship now at landmarkbankla.com. Here comes news on Talk 107.3. Hello, how are you? Doing all right. I apologize. I'm a little scattered this morning. I'm still trying to play makeup. I didn't see a text. You see how he says it like it's my fault that it's 25 degrees outside? Bro, good morning. How are you? Just a second. Told you we're working on the all right, fine, walk away. Josh Fleig's gonna be featured today for sure.
Okay, yeah, that was a really good. It's good. Good stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
Hello, good morning.
I get
Yeah, I'm all for it.
All right.
And what was your name?
Lori.
Lori? Yes, ma'am. I'm John, by the way.
You've been on it before, right?
Yes.
A couple times. I thought so.
Then we have one more person.
Okay, then I'm gonna move over to Mike 2.
Miss Lori, what is your last name?
Anderson.
Okay. Thank you.
Morning. All right. Hey, Brian. Calvin. Calvin, have you been on before?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. Refresh my memory, your last name and your title.
McClinton. Yes, Calvin McClinton. I care specialist.
Lori.
Lord.
Just Lori. Simple girl. You can go. Yeah, I know.
You know.
It's okay.
You already know.
No, I don't think we will. I think this weekend. Well, maybe we're gonna be in Houma this weekend. So yeah, we might hit a parade. Houma parades are so different than Denham. We live in Denham.
We're all scattered this morning.
Homa's like Denham.
I don't have.
Homa's like mini New Orleans, and that's what.
No.
So, and
Okay.
I'm from there. I'm from there. We have property there, and all my family goes there. But it's like, it's completely unhinged. We go to parades out in Denham, and it's like so calm and chill. It's more of a family environment. In Houma, it's like, oh, it's insane.
So good to see you, Brian.
You too, Don.
You doing well?
I'm sorry I made it 25 degrees this morning. That's completely my fault. You are. Put a call into my cousin. I'll go down for some training sometime in March.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm learning to play pickleball
Okay, so you
because it's early May, right?
First weekend in May.
First weekend in May. He's got me playing in a tournament.
I'm at the tell Frank.
Second one.
Yeah. Yeah, I was supposed to go play with him yesterday, but it was too cold.
It's addicting. Hey, just hang on, because once you start.
That's what I'm told.
Cardio.
really?
It's not good
Good
cardio.
exercise. It is good cardio.
It's
No.
not good cardio.
How is it not good cardio?
You're just standing there.
Okay.
I don't think that's I don't think that's it.
Dude, I know I'm fat, but I'm like putting in work at the gym. The fatness isn't from the activity. The fatness is I drank like a fish.
So, I respect that. But I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that you're going to wake up and you're going to be sore. You're going to sweat. Like, you don't sweat at the gym. I promise you.
Shit.
Okay.
You need to come to the gym with me. You don't know sweat. You don't know sweat. I've seen, bro. Time to get a look at your forecast. Here's WBRZ meteorologist McCade Cowan. Kill all the mics. Back on.
How do we even? Now let's.
And now you see why I drink.
Transition to teen dating violence.
Thank you. See, it takes us right back to the I drank like a fish part because I had to tell myself I never said that.
I know.
Oh God!
I
So
remember
good.
it was said.
No.
That
Not
was
if the
funny.
mics weren't on, it didn't happen. Coming up on 737 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hey, look at that clock. We're Thursday. We're just past 7:35. That means it's time for Crime Stoppers. Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers, and as we do once a month, we welcome in the folks from Eye Care. Today, we have Calvin McClinton and Lori Anderson. How y'all doing this morning? Welcome back.
Doing well.
Doing great, thank you.
Glad to have y'all on here. A little bit alarmed by the topic today. The topic today gets very heavy and very serious, and so let's just set the table. Tell the listeners what brings you here today.
Again, I'm Lori Anderson, eye care specialist for East Baton Rouge Parish School System, and we are here to talk about our teen dating violence awareness campaign that's happening this month.
How did this become such a major campaign within the eye care prevention program?
I want to say it was around 2020. The EBR mayor's office at the time, they found that there was or the district attorney's office, I'm sorry, found that had been an uptick in violence, especially in the 70805 area, which is like that, the Struma high schools and that kind of area. And so we took it upon ourselves to highlight a campaign that's already been in existence for a while now, but just to highlight what's going on with teens on our campuses, on our especially our high school, middle and high school campuses.
Okay, can't help but notice. Oh, go ahead, Calvin.
So, as prevention specialists, we're trying to catch these activities before they start. We're trying to prevent the kids from beginning to, hit on each other, become familiar with that type of activity. And so Lori and I both do campaigns at our schools. And so, like she said, that's because of the uptick. That is why we have been trying to get ahead of it.
And there's something about the date that you mentioned with the uptick that I've got to have a follow-up question about here. You said it was in 2020.
Correct.
And we did see an uptick in domestic violence in 2020 when everyone was sent home because of COVID. Lockdowns took people out of their routines, took people out of their coping mechanisms, took people away from their networks, and we saw an uptick in domestic violence because of that. Is this a residual effect of kids learn what they see from their parents?
Well, I mean, yes, they do. Let's start there. They do, definitely. But I think also we have to look at, when we were in school, I'm not going to share my age, but when we were in school, it was always said, oh, well, if a boy is mean to you, that means they like you. So it's always been in our heads that this is like a cute thing to do. And
Mhm.
so we want to just let, especially our younger kids, because we start young, when they become adults, hopefully we can stop that cycle of abuse, but let them know that like certain things are not okay. They're not cute. They're not fun. It's starting a trend that can lead you down a bad path.
What's iCare's role in supporting the campaign?
Our role is to teach kids what healthy relationships look like, healthy versus not healthy, how to take care of yourself. We like I said earlier, we want to definitely get ahead of the situation before it becomes a problem in the youth that we services lives.
A lot of this, a lot of this is tough because a lot of this probably should be learned at home. Y'all are taking on this is a big bite. It's a big bite of the apple. What does it take to show a kid what a healthy relationship looks like?
Well, one of the things we did this year, I wish I would have brought one, but we made kind of like little wallet cards, and it says, "Are you okay?" It gives the teen dating violence hotline number on it, and
Mhm.
on the back it says, "Healthy relationships look like respect, love, kindness." So just kind of keeping that as a reminder of what that looks like. And I'm sorry, say your question one more time. I want to make sure I
Well, no,
answered
it's
it.
because assuming the premise that a lot of this is learned in the home, right?
Correct.
Well, what a healthy relationship would be, that's where you're going to find your relationship.
Right.
For iCare to have the ability to step in, this is a big bite of the apple to
Mhm.
try and paint the picture
I got you.
as saying, like, this is what you need to learn versus what's already embedded.
And that's something that we try to do too. Like when our one of our biggest thing is like the connection piece, the rapport piece with our students. So if they can see, because a lot of our students have trust issues because of something that happened, in their life or at home. So we have to come in and show them, be an example of what healthy relationships look like. And we're not talking about just intimate, we're talking about friendships, family, all those kind of things.
And to add to that, we also use students their age. Like at LSU, we have an expo where the college students present to the high school students what healthy relationships should look like. They talk about the statistics of domestic violence, and hearing it from a peer is better. They receive it better than listening to Lori or myself.
The old folks.
Yeah,
Always.
the old folks.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes. As a father of three, I can tell you it always
Yes.
goes further when it comes from a peer. All right. We're talking with Calvin McClinton and Lori Anderson, both eye care specialists. We're talking about teen dating violence. Let's flip the conversation over here to talk about self-worth and self-care. What's the role of self-care in domestic violence?
Loving yourself,
Mhm.
And it's not just with domestic violence, it's just in life. You have to love yourself because if you don't feel worthy of love, if you don't feel worthy of being valued, you're going to let certain behaviors happen. You're going to see that as, oh, well, that's just love. That's just how they show love because you're just dying for love. So we really try to push loving yourself first.
Especially in the field that we work in, we have to practice self-care because we do take on everybody else's
Yeah.
issues, problems, and daily. And so with that, we have to make sure we take care of ourselves so we can service the students, teachers, schools that we work in.
Domestic violence comes in many forms. There's many different layers. Talk to me a little bit about what it looks like in the different layers that are there.
So you have physical, emotional, mental, verbal. Those are the main ones. Or I think those are the only ones, really.
Right.
But and like I was saying earlier with our students, they'll play fight, they'll hit, they'll do these things, and it's just, oh, that's cute. That's just how we play. Or they'll say things like, who are you with? Or why are you talking to that girl or that boy? And they think it's like, oh, they're just being protective. But it's really like they're ingraining in you that I'm your only person. I'm the only one you need to be with. So that would be a mental or, form of
Right.
abuse, but they don't often see it as that.
Yeah, the behavior I think is something that is not taught to our students. They think boys hitting on girls is okay. It's not, and we've talked to them. Well, she hit me first. it doesn't matter. You don't put your hands on a young lady, and I was taught that earlier in life because I have a sister,
Mhm.
and I made the mistake of putting my hands on her one time, and so my dad corrected me.
Yes.
And so from that day forward, I knew that was something that you didn't do.
Mhm.
And also, we don't want girls to hit boys either
Yes.
because of the fact that, oh, they can't hit me back.
Right.
You know, I always say you're gonna learn a hard lesson the wrong way.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a few phrases
Yeah,
for that.
yeah,
We're not
there
gonna
is.
dive
Yeah, we
into.
can't say those.
No,
but
no,
yeah.
no, no, no. This is our Crime Stopper segment. We have the folks from Ike here, and Calvin and Lawyer in with me today. We're talking about teen dating violence. You mentioned oh, boys will hit girls if they like them. Part of this.
Mm-hmm.
Once they're dating, are they not past that phase? Wow.
Not today.
Okay.
I can't begin to fathom, what, teenagers they have a whole different language
Sure.
and everything. So it's just trying to show them what, like we say, what healthy relationships look like, and hitting, and none of that is ever involved.
Let's talk a little bit about feedback. What are y'all hearing back from the teens?
As of last year, when we took the students to Southern University LSU Youth Campus to the expos, they enjoyed it. They enjoyed it, and so we're going to bring that back to those campuses this year and have our high school students revisit the same topic. We're in the middle of getting that taken care of now, so we can continue to teach these kids what healthy relationships look like.
How do you incorporate? This could be tough to ask the wording on this one. How do you incorporate mixing their extracurricular life, their academic life, and their social life together? Because I have a feeling that self-worth and self-care would play into all of it, and you'd see the rising tide lift all boats here. If I'm worthy of not being hit, then I'm worthy of trying hard in class. If I'm worthy of taking care of myself, then I'm worthy to go out for the team and maybe
Right.
make whatever, basketball,
Yeah.
volleyball, whatever. Like,
Right.
is this all? Can it all be combined into one?
Well, if it's okay, I can share a personal experience, which I don't mind.
Go for
Try
it.
to be transparent. So I was a athlete in school.
Mhm.
I was gonna go. I won't say the university I was gonna go play for because your fans may be upset with me.
Okay.
University of Alabama. I can't.
No,
I'm
that's
sorry.
fine.
Roll
That's fine.
Tide. But I got hurt my senior year, and so that was part of my identity. So, and I didn't realize that till later in life.
Mhm.
And so, because I lost that, I didn't feel like I had anything. I didn't feel like I was enough. I didn't feel like I was worthy. So, and when it turned into a relationship, I tried so hard to make myself seem valuable in a relationship. So it can have either one effect or the other.
Right.
Some people may be like, okay, well, this is not okay. So let me go put all my energy into this. Other people may say, I know it's not okay, but I just need love. I just want companionship. I just want to feel important to somebody.
Right.
So it's like a catch-22 sometimes. You just
But
never
not-
know which way it's going to fall.
Oh, man, again, but just not to the detriment of yourself. I mean, that's
But
the
people
hard
lo-
part.
I know, but people lose themselves for different reasons all the time,
100%.
So it's just kind of trying to help them find that balance.
We probably should have led with this, but I want to make sure we get to it before we get out. Let's talk numbers here. The reported numbers within the high school arena. What are we talking about as far as the volume of complaints and issues?
Well, that's one of the problems is that I'm sure the numbers are higher. I think Calvin has the actual numbers, but I know the numbers are probably higher because a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of, a fear of actually expressing that situation.
I think the CDC reported that 1 out of 12 teens experience dating violence in the U.S.
Okay.
Not 1 out of 12, you would think not so big, but out of the multiple schools, lots of kids that attend these schools, 1 out of 12 is too many.
Yes, I would.
Yes.
1 out of 12 is a big number.
Yes.
Absolutely,
Yes.
it is. I mean, when you start to scale that out to the size of a class, I
I
mean,
was about to say, if you think of a classroom, that's at least 2 to 3 people per class
Yes.
on every
Right.
school campus.
and look at the whole grade. If there's 120 kids in that grade, that means that 10 of them are subject to at a minimum here. So
Yes.
we got so much water ground to get to, but we got to call it for today. Calvin, Lori, I thank y'all so much for coming in. talk about this. It's a touchy topic to cover. I appreciate y'all diving in.
Thank you for
Thank you so
having
much
us.
for having
Thank
us.
you. We are coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM. Let's check your money now. We'll check traffic. Come back, dive back into the budget next.
Great job.
No, thank you all.
Yes, great job. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well,
I was on two wheels getting here.
Yeah.
It is.
It's one where like you can't shy away from it.
No.
Because this is it is I believe a 100% learned behavior.
I agree.
definitely.
I agree. I
I
agree.
mean,
And
definitely all the
the
way.
kids are not being taught.
Do
It's
we
a different
need,
world.
Do we need a picture? Okay.
I didn't
Good deal.
want-
Thank you.
I didn't
Thank
want
you so
to
much.
watch
Good
that.
seeing you
I
again.
know-
I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Good to see you again. Pickleball.
I'm in. He got me roped in.
Hey, so when you realize that it is on you, we'll go on air. We'll go on air with it.
It's right up there with cross country skiing.
Y'all be good. Y'all need something else.
Will do, Don. Always appreciate it. Yeah, I'm digging myself a hole with this one, aren't I? My ass better be in shape. No, I've joked before. It's pickleball is tennis for people who don't like
That's why I
lateral
was surprised
who
you said it.
don't like lateral movement.
Yeah.
Well, the lateral movement is where the exercise comes in. So, oh,
Somewhere out there is a pickleball player. Like, am I a joke to you? It's a professional pickleballer. Am I a joke to you?
that was a. I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, it was.
Perks in the fridge.
Whoa! What?
Are we in? We're still in traffic.
Oh yeah, we're still in traffic.
Good morning.
Hey, how you
are
doing,
Hey,
sir?
on Friday.
Good to see
Yeah,
you.
nice
It's
to meet
John.
you, John.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, just have a seat. We'll the camera's always on for Facebook, but we gotta bang out 2 quick segments before yours. Oh, yes, I don't like the cold, but I appreciate that it's there when it's supposed to be. I call it seasonably appropriate.
Yeah.
You can layer up.
Yes.
You can only pull something like
Right.
That's correct.
Exactly.
Going all right.
I saw you yesterday at the lobby. You were cutting through, and I got stopped by a few people.
I was on the move a lot yesterday. I am a member of the Rotary Club here in Baton Rouge, and I have to do a news update at the beginning of every meeting. So I had to leave lobby to go over to Drusilla to do that, and then came right back. I felt bad because a good friend of mine was giving the presentation at the Rotary Club. I was like, dude, I can't stick around. So yes. 7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We're going to get you back into the budget here in just a second. Going to tell you what's coming up next hour as well. Of course, we'll have this day in history as we always do. Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis. You've been hearing his name in a lot more places lately. And he'll be in studio with us. He is in studio with us. We're going to talk about what's going on in Monroe and the surrounding area. And I say and the surrounding area because you don't have the Meta AI data center moving in if you don't have Monroe right next door. It wasn't just going to be on an island out there. This is a multifaceted equation. After Friday, we're going to talk with Liz Smith from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. They have got their upcoming Torch, the Academy of Politics, a 7-month tuition-free program providing practical hands-on training to participants who want to run for office, manage a campaign, or basically get into the public policy world. Before we get you to the governor's announcement about the budget, I want to remind you about the folks over at Vex European. Do you drive a European vehicle? If you do, you need Vex European. Start at vexeuropean.com. I drive a European vehicle, and I love Vex European because my car is 17 years old, and it takes a lot of TLC to keep that thing moving. And I'll tell you, this is moving. I was talking with Vinny on the phone the other day because I'm due up to go over there. Whether you're talking about an oil change or major repair, they've got you covered the whole way through. And it's just if you take care of your basic maintenance at Vex European, that's V as in Vinny. If you take care of your basic maintenance at Vex European, you're paired with a technician who is expert level in your make of vehicle. Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, Jaguar, you know the list. And if you don't know the list, there's a vehicles tab at vexeuropean.com. Hit that little drop down and you'll see your car there. But when you're paired with a technician, you know that technician will know your car. Same way your doctor follows your chart. It all starts at vexeuropean.com. Governor Jeff Landry has a proposed budget out there for the next fiscal year. It reduces the amount of state funds by up to $1 billion from the current fiscal year. Landry says, and we played a full video out in our last hour. We're going to kind of highlight it here. Landry says the state spending plan continues to the trend of decreasing the overall amount of money that the state spends. Cut 7.
I believe our budget once again sets us on the right path towards fiscal responsibility and shared prosperity. I look forward to working with the legislature to achieve these goals.
Now, today, Commissioner of Administration Taylor Barra is going to provide state lawmakers with more specifics of the budget proposal. The legislature will spend the next several months making changes to the spending plan. The goal is to approve a budget before the legislative session ends, which will be on June 12th. April 14th, I think, is when they first convene. Landry says despite a reduction in state spending, Louisiana will still benefit from new revenue that will be used on non-recurring expenses,
such as continuing to lower the personal income tax rate even further, or by making investments in critical state infrastructure, such as roads, bridges, water, and sewer systems.
Now, he's not going to go into it there, but in order to do that, the next step's actually up to us. As it stands right now, constitutionally, they can only cut healthcare and higher ed, healthcare and higher ed, healthcare and higher ed. You've seen it ad nauseum. You've seen it on repeat. You've seen it since Governor Jindal got so much trouble or so much bad publicity for doing what the Constitution allowed him to do. Coming up on March 29th, we're going to go to the polls, and there's a constitutional amendment on there that's going to free folks in the legislature up to spread things around. Rather than just gouging one or two areas of the budget, maybe a slight trim on all of it. Once they can do that, they can go in to free up more tax cuts for you and me to save more of our money. By the way, Landry says he has also created a fiscal responsibility program and appointed a budget czar to review government expenditures, saying efficiencies have already been discovered that's reduced the total amount of dollars that the state's going to spend.
Including saving over $11 million in the Louisiana Department of Health, over $1 million of savings in the Department of Energy and Natural Resources, $2.3 million worth of savings at the Division of Administration.
Budget scrubbing is going on all levels of government. Oh, we got to hit news. Here you go. Okay. You have to forgive us for this next segment. It tends to leave the rails. Yes, we start off the 8 o'clock hour with this day in history, and it's not just like it's
probably the most unhinged part of the show.
Yeah,
it's the most. Yeah.
There's days I wake up and go in the office and realize you can't make this stuff up. So,
no, it's true.
Yeah.
And some stuff you can make up, like national days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see the best and worst of them.
Yeah.
It's like
goodness.
I'm like, who's really going by this?
The national days?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Right. I dubbed today whatever. National Cherry Pie Day. Like, what are you doing?
Meet with Mayor Sid Edwards today.
Really?
Yeah.
Good man.
He so we went through our transition committee when I came into office. Obviously there's a legislator that's kind of overseeing this process. Michael Eccles, Representative Eccles, helped me oversee mine. Kind of sent the framework of what we were doing, over to him. Saw Neil Patel yesterday.
Neil's awesome. I saw him.
Yeah, he's I guess got a crime subcommittee. I was going to go over and sit in on that one just to listen because, we're similar issues in Monroe.
Yeah,
lots of big gang problems. Got judges who just catch and release kind of thing. Just to kind of sit in because Mayor Edwards is going to need some. He's going to need some solid folks around him and just kind of.
It's that catch and release, man. It's that to me that is the biggest problem.
You should go see our latest our latest press conference we had with. Yeah, you'll understand real quick why I picked my police chief.
Okay.
And understand real quick that we aren't afraid of calling folks out. I got judges threatening to lock me up in Monroe.
Good.
Yeah.
Do it.
Best thing you can do for me. It's like
no, because the response by you is, "Oh, you'll lock me up."
Yeah, correct. What? Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If I shoot somebody, I'll be out tomorrow.
Yeah, and we release everybody's rap sheets as soon as we arrest them. Let the public start understanding that there's no reason these folks should still be out. And by the way, whatever you got charged for, what was that reduced to? It was reduced to that charge.
Right.
So when you got arrested, it was probably something.
Where did it start?
Yep.
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
What's happening?
Yeah, frozen?
It is so cold.
It is.
Y'all.
Yes. Oh, Carrie is John Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
John Carrie.
Hey, nice to meet you. I feel like I've met you before.
Oh yeah, you may have. I don't know.
Listen, so
all us burly bearded guys, we all look the same.
So I usually wear a
If
Stetson
you've met
open
one,
road
you've met us all.
hat.
Yeah.
Everybody, where's your hat? I'm like, when I want to blend in, I don't wear my hat because it's not that the world has a lack of bald-headed bearded guys, right? But so talk about how small the world is.
Yeah.
So you used to own a cigar shop. Had my own line of cigars on the market, whole nine.
That's cool.
I went to go visit my friend Armando and Luis over at Havana Port yesterday. Go catch up on some emails, have a cigar. I'm sitting there. A guy walks in. It's like, man, you look familiar. Sure enough, Garrett Calhoun. He's a rep for Davidoff. I used to sit and smoke cigars with that cat in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, wow.
And he has just picked up this territory. And anyway, he wasn't even a rep then, and it was just wild. I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. He's lost a ton of weight. That's why it's hard to recognize him. We sat there and chewed the fat yesterday. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love small world stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
You know, one of the greatest lessons my dad ever taught me was it's not do I know you, it's how do I know you.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if being honest with you, if you catch it from this angle, it's probably be better. Yeah. Like you can probably, yeah. You'll see throughout the interview. I'll be over here trying to get a good angle.
Got it perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
.806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing. Not doing much to get above freezing just yet. We are at 27 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. On our way to 44, though. We'll get back up before it's all said and done. We got a busy third hour for you this hour. Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis is in studio with us, going to join us in our next segment. Talk a little bit about what they've got going on up in Monroe. There's actually a lot of parallels between Monroe and Baton Rouge right now. And when you talk about economic development as a state and economic development wins as a state, it starts locally. So I kind of want to pick his brain a little bit and see if we can steal from him and bring back home to Baton Rouge, because this is a rising tide lifts all boats sort of scenario. Monroe wins, Louisiana wins. Meta says yes to Holly Ridge, beautiful downtown Holly Ridge. Then all of Louisiana rises with that. So we're going to talk with Mayor Friday Ellis in our next segment. After that, we got Liz Smith joining us. Do you want to get involved in the political world? This is the segment for you. Liz Smith at 8:35. Right now, though, time to roll back the clock. Time for This Day in History.
All right.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
Hey, we're gonna start off in 1944.
No,
Batman,
we're
why?
not.
What are
Because
you talking
in
about?
1872.
1872.
The
What the heck
the Metropolitan Museum of Art opened up in New York City.
Okay, I guess.
Why do you
that's
hate
important.
art, John?
I don't hate art. I'm about
You
to.
skipped
I'm about.
it?
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't hate art. I'm so offended right now.
Yeah, you should be.
Hey, 1944, Batman and Robin comic strip premieres in newspapers. How's that? Is that
No?
that's art?
No.
That is art. Still around.
On this day in 1929, the U.S. Congress formally accepted the deeds of secession from Eastern Samoa, forming American Samoa.
Okay, I guess that's important.
No, that is important. You know why? Because if there's no American Samoa, there's no University of American Samoa. And if there's no University of American Samoa, Saul Goodman never gets a law degree.
Oh, okay. I thought he was, maybe Dwayne Johnson doesn't become who he is. You know what I mean?
Just saying.
Maybe that has something.
I'm just saying the entire premise of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul rests on a treaty that was signed today. Not a treaty, whatever.
Well, Robert Pattinson's career hinges on Batman and,
Fair
Robert.
enough.
Hey, 1947. Check this out. A chemical mixing error involving perchloric acid and a metal plating company causes an explosion that kills 17, injures over 100, and destroys at least 11 buildings in Los Angeles.
Really?
It's insane, right?
That is insane.
Little mixing error. Oops, my bad.
Yeah.
Music news here. 1959. Jimi Hendrix, at the age of 16, placed his first gig.
Okay.
Yep.
How'd you like to have been in that crowd?
That'd be pretty cool.
Who's this kid?
Apparently it was a basement show in Seattle.
Somebody was like, "Who is this kid?"
Look at this kid. He was
terrible.
fired from the band after the first set due to wild playing. Quote,
No kidding.
wild playing.
No kidding.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's someone who's going to look back after a long time and say, "I stand by it."
You think they're kicking themselves?
No. To this day,
you don't want to be that band, right?
He was terrible.
Yeah. Oof. 1962, John Glenn becomes the first American to orbit Earth aboard Friendship 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, explosions today. 1987, a bomb blamed on the Unabomber explodes by a computer store in Salt Lake City today, 1987.
I did not have that one. Wow.
Another music news here again. 2014, Aberdeen, Washington unveils a statue of weeping Kurt Cobain at a park named after the singer.
Not touching it. I've gotten in enough trouble today.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
Hey, 2016, Jeff Bush suspends his presidential campaign. Guess he says, you know what? Maybe not. 2018, Venezuela becomes the first country to launch a virtual currency, the Petro, to counteract their financial crisis.
Okay.
So I guess in order to counterfeit that, we'll just
sure, why not?
You know. Hey, Beyonce today a year ago today releases her country hit Texas Hold'em.
Really?
Of course, we know how that went. I mean,
Yeah.
she won album of the year.
And yeah, she's killing it in country music now.
That's it.
All right.
Anything
Birthdays.
else?
No.
Birthdays.
No,
I got Mitch McConnell here.
Okay.
At the top of my list. Let's see. Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley's on the list. Yes.
Trevor Noah.
Yep.
Rihanna today.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. I'm sorry.
No.
40 years ago today. And Richard just walked by. That's why I remembered it.
Oh.
40 years ago today, making his debut, first game as LSU's baseball coach, Skip Bertman.
Okay.
Skip Bertman made his LSU debut 40 years ago today at Southern Miss. 7-2 win.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. Birthdays as well. Kurt Cobain, as of course.
Yeah.
That's in memoriam of his birthday.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anybody else on your end?
Did you have Rihanna?
I did.
Okay. Did you have Trevor Noah?
I think I said Trevor. I might have. Yeah.
You can skip it if you want. Sidney Poitier's birthday is today. He was born on this day in 1927. Cindy Crawford, born on this day in 1996.
There we go.
And I thought I had one more, but I don't.
Okay. What about deaths here? Frederick Douglass.
Yep.
At the top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
Who else you got?
I got film critic Gene Siskel died on this day in 1999. You have no idea who that is, and it's fine.
Does anybody else know who that is?
Gen X knows who that is.
What is it? What you say? Siskel and Ebert.
Siskel and
I'm sorry,
Ebert,
it went
yes.
over my head. I was reading something else. Okay.
Yeah. Also,
do we do that anymore? There's no
because
specific...
there's no Siskel and Ebert because everyone's a micro influencer.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone's giving their hot take.
No one's waiting around for Siskel and Ebert when somebody else is, they're giving Google reviews.
Yeah.
They're on Yelp.
Do you do
I'm
movie
like
reviews?
this close to sounding like drunk uncle from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Do you do movie reviews like before you go see a movie? Are you checking out the reviews?
No.
Me and my brother, we're big on it. I don't do it. He does it. He's like, oh, well, Rotten Tomatoes gave it. I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes thinks.
Nope.
I don't care.
No, I want to go in fresh. I want to go in not knowing what to expect. That's part of the whole experience.
Absolutely.
And you'll find you'll like a lot more movies if you don't go in with a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
By the way, also Hunter S. Thomas died on this day in 2000. Hunter S. Thompson died on this day in 2005. What national day is it?
You're gonna love this. National Whistleblower Reward Day. Whistleblower Reward Day, Brian.
Why?
I don't know either. I guess it's National Leadership Day. What about that?
Why? No, I want to know why is today National Whistleblower Award Day? What happened on this
Want
day
to save
that made
the economy and government and make the lives better? Let's see.
Yeah. Why? Oh,
we're gonna read this in real time, I guess. Let's see. It's every year is a day that has been set aside to create awareness against fraud and encourage people to report fraud against the government. Okay. So, I mean, how did that go for Snowden though?
No, it didn't. I guess the day wasn't around when he did his thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get another one here, and I cannot get my email to participate with me. So we'll move on. We're already late. The other national day today.
Hootie Hoo Day?
No.
I said Hootie Hoo, but yeah. This isn't Master P. It's just
okay. Time for a break. When we come back, Monroe's Mayor Friday Ellis is in studio with us. We'll talk with him next.
Unhinged.
You got a Master P
exactly.
quote in there.
I think it Master
Siskel and Ebert.
It's
Master
Hootie Hoo.
P. Yeah.
And you can't even
It
make
is
this up.
unhinged.
These are literal, like, these are days. And
Oh my God, it is.
these are actual days. So when I go through, it's like, no, I'm not making it up. Like, these are actual days. Yeah, exactly.
That's the one I
Handcuff
had.
day.
National Handcuff Day.
Yeah.
National
That might
Whistleblower
have worked
Reward
for y'all
Day.
last week.
Whistle-
Y'all
yeah.
celebrating National Handcuff
That's what I
Day.
was just telling him. I said that I got judges threatening to throw us in jail. Oh my
we
God!
worked
Because
on that part.
we refused
Oh
to
my
bring back
goodness.
a police officer
Yeah.
who was fired
We call
for
it the jailhouse, right?
covering up the previous mayor,
Oh my
covering
goodness.
up a man getting beat while he was in handcuffs by police. Yeah, and he wants to bring him back.
So we just went through that with our street crimes unit. We had to disband an entire unit of
This is about to
BRPD
be just
because they were taking people
I
to
love
like
this
a
is my favorite, actually.
location.
Oh, really?
It's his favorite. too.
Oh, really?
They called
Yeah,
it the
yeah.
Brave
He
Cave.
does
Yeah.
very well.
Brave was an anti-crime
Oh,
initiative
man.
a number of years
Yeah.
ago. So
Oh, yeah.
they called it the Brave Cave, and
It's
yeah,
usually
there
for
were a
the
number of
first 2 hours.
illegal searches.
Quiet.
Or,
I don't really give much,
Till the
but this
coffee
is my
kicks in?
time. Yeah, this is my time to legislate.
yeah,
All right, here we go.
yeah, like a black site.
Like
Here
that.
we
Yeah.
go.
Wow. Hmm.
All right, and now we get serious, okay?
Yeah,
We just
yeah.
had to get that
No,
out the
just-
system.
I'm sure that's where this is
We
going.
just had to get that out the system. Or at least I
That's my day.
just had to.
It's literally you go in, you're like you're listening about something that may have happened in your community. Next, like literally next day, next meeting, I'm holding the check to the Children's Coalition with
Right.
like children all around, and it's like the emotional highs and lows of your day.
Mm.
Employees ran $1.5 million piece of equipment off in a ditch, to
Oh man.
It's the whiplash. Calm, calm, calm.
Yeah,
Chaos. Calm, chaos.
that's it.
Calm, calm, chaos.
Calm, controlled
Calm,
chaos.
chaos.
816 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right. Met this guy up at Washington Mardi Gras, had him on the show, and the conversation just could not, it ended way too quickly. We had so much left on the table. Want to welcome back to the show the mayor of Monroe, Friday Ellis. Welcome back. How are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Let's move this around.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks can see
Sorry.
me. There we go.
There you go.
All good.
Yeah.
It's a face for radio. So
look,
let's.
I've been told my whole career, face for radio and a voice for print.
That's funny.
So, thank you.
Yeah, do it. Look, doing great. I appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity. Most people think we're South Arkansas here in Louisiana. So anytime we get to come down here and talk about the great things happening in Monroe and Northeast Louisiana, we really appreciate it.
Let's take a quick minute to dive back into your background.
Yeah.
I mean, before becoming mayor of Monroe, tell me a little about the bio here. Who's
Yeah.
Friday?
Born and raised in Richland Parish in a little town called Ravel. Population maybe 2,200. Raised by a single father, entrepreneur. Born and raised there, right there in the Mississippi Delta. Eventually came to Monroe, met my wife Ashley. Ashley sat on the board of elementary and secondary education, or Bessie. So we were a duly elected household. Our kids think, Mom, Dad, why do we have to solve all the world's problems? And so shortly after 9/11, joined the United States Marine Corps, Marine Corps veteran. Came back home, was like, hey, what do we do next? Took off working pipelines, saved all my money up to come home and eventually start a cigar shop, brick and mortar in Monroe, called Governor's Cigar and Pipe.
Okay.
Because when you think of Louisiana, what do you think about? Good food, good music, and just weird politics.
Yes.
And so no TVs on the wall, just conversation.
Oh, wow.
Everybody meets over a commonality. When you meet over a commonality, you grow relationships. And when that relationship is built, you can really unpack some of the tough stuff. And that's where my kind of trajectory towards maybe looking into public service was, because, I saw struggles as a small business owner of what it was like to do business in town, for someone who writes the check on the front for a living versus someone who cashes a check for a living. And sitting in there listening to folks like hopes and dreams of their community, tired of their kids leaving elsewhere for opportunity. We've heard the song and dance.
Yes.
And my wife and I both said, if we want to change things in education, or if we want to change things in the city, you got to change policy. You got to go in there and you've got to change the table. And so ultimately we ran. I beat a 20-year incumbent. My wife ran and beat the brakes off of an opponent, as I say.
Okay.
She is the talent in the house, quite possibly the most beautiful, kind, smart, caring individual. And I got my bluff in early. We've been married for 23 years, have 3 kids, all in public schools there in Monroe. Love them to death. Got one kid getting ready to go to college. Dad's not okay with that.
Where are they going?
He's going to go to Louisiana Tech.
Okay.
He wants to be a veterinarian, so he thinks.
Okay.
But whatever he does in life, I'm going to support him. We're putting a good product out in the world. I love that kid.
All right. We got Monroe's Mayor Friday, Ellis, and now we know a little more about him. Now let's talk about what he's doing right now. We have seen a lot of transformation in Monroe since 2020. We all heard the Meta announcement, and I think it opened a lot of folks' eyes to just what's going on up there. So talk to me a little bit about not so much the wins, but the prep that goes into the wins. Being ready for economic development is a big part of economic development.
Yeah, first you got to change the way that you're. My community sent me into office, and they said they put me in for 3 things. Crime was off the chain. I mean, it was. We saw that throughout the country. We saw that in Louisiana. The economic development landscape was poor. We had 2 EDOs fighting over who was going to have control of our community. And then infrastructure was just horrible, especially flooding. We live in the Mississippi Delta. And honestly, to be able to change the way that people talked over their community was one of our big things. Apathy had set in. And these companies send people, site selectors, these companies send people in your community all the time.
Yeah.
And they're listening to your residents. They're listening to the things they say at the coffee shop. And, they're making decisions on lots of things. But ultimately, they're going to try to figure out whether this is a place I want to bring our employees. What does the education landscape look like? What is the quality of life? Your parks, your recreation, your school systems, and the way people feel about their community. So first we started out, brought a site selectors guild in, start looking from a 30,000 foot view. And then on the ground floor level, we really just took our permitting process, ripped it up, brought small business owners in and said, hey, where are your pain points? What can we do better? And started there. Did a one-stop shop. I mean, at one point you had to go here for an occupational license, drive, halfway across town for planning and zoning, and then hopefully nobody's at lunch kind of thing. And so it was just, as a small business owner, the problem is on a national, statewide, and local level, people who are in these divisions and department have never applied or went through the process themselves. They don't understand what it means when my door is not open for a week. That is money not coming in. And as a small business, I ran a cigar shop. My wife was a school teacher.
Right.
You can imagine we didn't take a paycheck home for the first year. That's a big deal. We have 3 kids. And so understanding what the pain points of your community members are, how to get doors open quickly, as long as it's legal, ethical, and not at a cost to human life. Let's figure out a way to go. Stop being stop signs. Let's see yield signs. Let's figure out a way to keep moving forward and keep progress and keep going. It's paid in dividends. Relationships built with LED is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
And I want to give a shout out to Secretary Bourgeois. I can tell you her team has been very attentive. She doesn't come off as a lady who wants to go slow.
Nope.
She gets things done and very attentive. And also to the governor, he came in early and said, you will not be forgotten, North Louisiana. You will not be forgotten. And this announcement, and what I can tell you is that there are multiple stacks of RFPs coming through Northeast Louisiana that's not even connected to this development. It's like the floodgates have opened.
When you say not connected to this development, you're obviously talking about the metadata center, right?
Correct.
Okay. But that's going to be, I mean, that's hard for that not to be the headline.
We have really, our team, we've designated somebody to switch right now. Meta is making this announcement in Richland Parish, place I grew up in Holly Ridge. I cannot tell you how happy I am for my hometown and my friends in that area. I've grew up there. I've seen it in its height, and I've also seen its decline, and this is going to be tremendous. Right now, we are having problems trying to get flights in and out of Monroe. They're all packed. There are no rental cars whatsoever, and you've got these contractors coming in and stroking checks to local dealerships, buying vehicles, caterers who are out there catering. And so part of the reason why I'm here in Baton Rouge today is to talk with our friends at our workforce development, Secretary Showen, to talk about, putting together a regional plan with some short-term, mid-range, and long-term goals to surround this. And you say, well, why? Some people are saying, well, why is Monroe doing this? Well, Monroe has to lead. We support a broader 13 parish region, and
yeah. I mean, it's y'all are the city. Holly Ridge. I mean, I was joking when the announcement was made. I said I called to get a hold of the mayor of Holly Ridge, and they didn't know whose turn it was. So,
look, let me just say this: we have to lead because we are the employment hub, the education and healthcare hub of an entire region. So I can't be so insular to realize that the decisions that I make don't affect an entire region. And so that begins with, I mean, look, we were one of the first cities, if not the first city, to enter into cooperative endeavors with communities across state lines from us.
Really?
Yes. So,
okay.
So the I-20 Economic Development District and ourselves and the Southern Rail Commission, of course, you see about the new Amtrak routes.
Yeah.
We entered into a cooperative endeavor with Mayor Fleig in Vicksburg, Ruston, and Shreveport to be able to put together a Fed state partnership applications. We had to go get an AG opinion around this and start picking their brains.
Okay.
And Monroe led the charge for that. Now we're on the updated maps for FRA. We all just got through passing matching funds to be able to apply for a raised grant. 3 cities that typically are competitive. Now we're complementary of one another, Ruston and Shreveport. Everybody working together.
Just for reference, Holly Ridge is what, 20 minutes east?
20 minutes east.
Yeah.
And that's 20. Okay, Baton Rouge, listen closely. 20 minutes in Baton Rouge is maybe a mile down the road. 20 minutes.
Oh, do we let him get away with that? I mean, because he ain't wrong, but we're the only ones allowed to say it.
Hey, that's okay. But you know what? Those are why I tell people all the time, good problems to have.
Yes.
20 minutes on interstate going 70 miles an hour.
Right.
65, 70, whatever the speed limit is, right?
No one's looking.
That's right. That's right. So it is. And the impacts that it's going to have is to an entire region. And our responsibility right now, they have 3 prime contractors. They all have their own designation. Our job is to help them be successful.
Yeah.
I've met with them and they said, I have never been in a community where they are asking us, how can they help us? I've never been in a more welcoming community.
We did this last time and we're doing it again this time. We've only got 4 minutes left. Unreal. And I got like 8 more topics to cover. Okay. Let's talk about workforce because now as the mayor of Monroe, now that 20 minutes is a lot longer.
Yeah.
Because what you're looking for here is hopefully reside in Monroe, commute to Holly Ridge. I mean, that's what you'd want the daily round trip to be.
Yeah.
How do you go about building workforce?
You're going to realize that I'm not the guy that's going to give you the answer that everybody gives. Workforce is a soup sandwich. If you put 20 people in a room and ask you who's leading the charge, you get 20 different answers. If you ask them what workforce development is, they'll give you 20 different answers. I think we have a administration right now. They came into our town, gave us a wonderful presentation. I saw data that presented us like I've never seen before. And that's what gives me hope that we can get this right. From a 30,000 foot level, I think Louisiana does a great job with programs that are available. The problem is the execution phase on the local level. And I'm not putting that on anybody else except for our local leaders to say, let's untangle this web. And so all we need is a little funding and a little bit of partnership, and we can get this done. So I'm down here today asking like, hey, look, from a 30,000 foot level, I get it. But from the execution phase, from the school districts, from our workforce partners, let's put a plan together to say, who's the quarterback? Who owns this? What are the KPIs we're putting in place? How do we measure this? If it's not working, how do we adjust? And who owns what? We're ready to get rolling on this thing, and we don't have time.
Talking process like Nick Saban.
But
that's what it's about. It's about the building blocks. We got a minute and a half left. I've got to pivot over to yesterday.
Come on.
Your takeaways from Lobby's annual meeting were what?
Yeah. So number one, just the progress that we've made as far as a business environment as the state. We need to continue to do that. It's the same thing as me as mayor. It's only scalable, right? The difference between me and Lobby is I've got a budget and I can execute, right? They have to go down and work with their legislators to pass reforms and everything else. But I can tell you it's the same thing. It's crime, it's education, it's economic development, right? And it's the quality of life of our residents. We're here and doing the same thing. I appreciate the partnerships with Lobby over the past and present. I think there are ways they listen. There's multiple times that we've went down to them with issues that they have helped us champion. And it is about business environment. It is about a quality of life that ultimately is going to get us out of here.
Next time you're in, we got to talk. Well, let's do the deep dive on crime. That one to me is because we're in the thick of it right now. We're in the thick of it right now, and we're starting to see some movement, buy-in from the business community.
That's right.
Residents taking pride and ownership in their own community. So that's the conversation we'll have next. In the meanwhile, we're just straight up out of time. He is Monroe Mayor Friday. Ellis, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
We have got ABC News coming your way in about 13 seconds from right now. After that, we'll check our own local news with Louisiana Radio Network. We'll check traffic. We'll check weather. When we come back, if you are interested in getting involved in the political space, the next segment is the one you're going to want to tune into. That's coming your way next, right here on Talk 107.3. That was flipping awesome.
Brother, you want to do something? Hey, you want to do one on crime? I'll pull my police chief in here, and he and I will sit, and you will have quite. Like I tell you, I don't pull punches. Yeah, I don't pull punches because it's too important to get wrong.
Right.
I don't pull punches. You have to say what the issue is and be able to be open to work with folks. But just like the reporter asked, she's like, Mayor, why does this keep happening? And I walk over to a screen and I've got the guy's rap sheet that you could roll out and hit the front door with and say, that's not for me to answer. Yeah. I said, take your camera and your energy and go to 4th JDC. Ask judges and the DA why this individual here. And I just read all the charges out. Yeah. And let me tell you something. That next night we had a Mardi Gras parade in Monroe. People hugging our necks saying, Mayor, thank you for continuing to speak out on this, right? Because can you imagine? Imagine what all gets lost in this. Is a 12-year-old little girl that we had a shooting the other day who had to call 911 because her mother was shot over some gang beef. Like that's what gets lost in all of this. And
so familiar.
I've got a daughter. She's 12 years old. Yeah. It's like what?
Wait, you got a 12-year-old and one going off to college?
I got a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, and one going off to college. Okay. Yeah.
So I've got one going off to college.
Yeah.
I've got a 12-year-old and I've got an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So.
We're in the same boat. So my daughter, my wife and I adopted about 9 years ago. She uses a wheelchair. She has been the light of our life. And I just keep thinking about like, what is the city they're going to grow up in? Look, I'll show you this. My police chief just sent me the other day because I told him to start compiling some data. And I mean, Neil was like, send me that. Neil, I was like, look, here's Monroe's violent crime data. It's like, but you have to call it out. You have to do what you need to do. And if it's guns, gangs, fentanyl, we're going to run RICO cases and send you up and you're going to serve some federal time. If our local judges aren't going to get it done, we're going to pull you out of local courts, work larger cases, send you up on the federal courts and see you gone. Yep.
And you talk about like what kind of neighborhood. My oldest is going to Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Ellis was not on the table for her.
Yeah.
Not on the table.
Yeah.
And I know it's anecdotal.
Yeah.
But as a father of daughters, and if you're local here, you hear the names Allie Rice and Madison Brooks. Those are two girls who were.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Allie Rice was killed
right here.
Right there.
Yeah.
Right there. And Madison Brooks was.
And they're still not an answer on.
No. There's talk, and I think they know who it is, and he's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, that's good to know. That makes it
So I'll tell you
But in Madison Brooks was, and I'll use this term, hunted.
Yeah.
She was drunk in Tigerland, and some dudes picked her up in a car. Yep. And I've seen the video. She was a willing participant, but she was in no position to be a willing participant. And they dropped her off, and she was left for dead, and she was hit by a car. And I know those are anecdotal, but as a father of daughters, that shit hits home.
Well, she'll tell you, I bring my boys with me everywhere I go.
Mm-hmm.
I bring them into parts of town that, most folks are like, what are you doing? But I need them to see, and I need residents to see that this is a mayor who's not afraid, who's here, who's bringing his family to meet other families, who's working within neighborhoods to start talking. I want my kids to see why dad and mom fight so hard. Like, she'll tell you, we just act differently and do differently. I get out of the office Like I ride on trash trucks all the time, ride at night with PD, with PD, put on flak jackets, roll. We go, we have to see because, and that's what I told Mayor Edwards yesterday for a brief minute. I said, Mayor, you need to get out of your office and get into neighborhoods. You have to understand it from a ground floor level what the problem is, because everybody and their brother is going to tell you what the problem is. No, sir, I'm an old Marine. I lead from the front. I can do anything and everything from this little dude right here. I can send emails. I can make calls. I can do Zoom meetings. If you're not out and you're not in the community,
Sid's doing that, by the way.
good.
When we had the blizzard a couple weeks right
Yep.
before Washington Mardi Gras,
Yep.
I've been impressed.
he went from
Yeah.
homeless shelter to homeless shelter. What he did right before becoming mayor, he brought a football program back to a school. He's a lifelong football coach. He brought a football program back to a school that didn't have the budget for a football program. You had kids who had no direction at all. It was at a Struma.
Yeah.
They had no direction at all, nowhere to turn. And Sid stepped in, started the football program, had like 20 kids the first year, like 50 the second year. He actually went to the playoffs this past year. But he before even being a mayor, he was full force saying, "This is how we're going to make a difference." And that's kind of why he won.
that's exactly why he won, because people want someone accessible.
People want something different too.
Yep.
Like, it's
But
different.
the number of times I heard from people from North Baton Rouge, his actions spoke louder than her words.
Hmm.
How
Well,
about that?
he's
That
been
is-
around for a long time.
that
I know
is-
I work with somebody who works at a Struma as a coach. His daughter goes Struma.
Mhm.
Adores it.
He has an opportunity when you're loved and adored, and it can be effective. You know, I told Neil yesterday, I said, you need to pick 5 historical things that the city's this has been sitting around forever. Why hasn't it been fixed? Find those things, fix them quickly, find some low hanging historical stuff. And then all of a sudden people are going to be like, oh crap, we had an overpass that one of our poorest communities had to use. Yeah. Had to use to get over. And it was a rust bucket falling down. Everybody on 165 had to see it when they cut through our town.
See, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm actually so I want to start one. Did you see what the St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans looked like for Super Bowl week?
Yeah. Oh,
I want to do that on the old governor's mansion.
the little things.
Right?
We took all the Christmas lights that were in front of City Hall, took them all. Now they're in front of all the rec centers. Come on, guys. It's low hanging fruit. People, they know you care.
But it instills pride.
Yes.
It
It's
instills pride.
it's little things.
Yeah.
And people want to be felt and seen. And if you start breaking down our election and demographics, you're like, holy crap. It's because people see our face, they know we care, and we're tackling huge felt needs, right? You know, I told somebody, I said, I want to be a popular mayor. I'd have went around and built playgrounds everywhere. I said, but you want to be,
that's
you
all
know,
bullshit
And put
talk.
people's names on it.
Yeah.
You know how that goes. Thank you so much.
thanks, guys. Hey,
Appreciate
anytime
it.
you need us
Thank
back
you.
in,
Nice
yeah,
to meet you.
please do. We'll do a whole one on
Every
crime.
time you're in town, holler.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For real.
Thank you so much.
Put me and coach in the same room. We'll do it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yep.
Here for it. 8:38 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. John, did I tell you that guy he's a star in the making?
Fantastic. Yeah.
I mean that, and
Wow.
it's genuine.
Yes.
You heard it when we went to break.
Yeah.
It didn't stop.
No. Great stuff.
Yes, it was. And you know what? Speaking of great stuff, hey, you know this last segment sets up this segment perfectly. Okay. If you're out there and you're wondering, how do I get a start? How do I get my foot through the door? How do we get into politics at all? Well, there's a program called Torch. Want to welcome to the show. Whoop, hang on a second. I am so sorry. Did I hang up? Liz Smith, we got you?
I'm here.
There she is. How are you this morning?
I'm great, Brian. It's good to hear your voice.
Glad to hear you on as well. Tell us all about Torch.
Torch is a gateway program for people who want to get involved in the leadership and policy arena. It's a launching pad. You are absolutely right that Friday set me up. Now I'm going to knock it down.
Let's go.
If you like Friday and Ashley, look at each other over the kitchen table and say, listen, if we're going to change anything about the place where we live and make it better, we're going to have to stand up and get involved. they are absolutely right. And this organization or this program is designed for those who are looking to become effective candidates or advocates. It gives them the tools and the skills they need to run winning campaigns and really drive that meaningful change.
What brought this together? What made the Baton Rouge Alliance put Torch together in the first place?
We started it because we really understand that leadership matters. And I think there's also an understanding that, our country was founded on the idea that ordinary people can do extraordinary things. We created Torch because we felt that more ordinary people needed to have the curtain drawn back on what it means to run a political campaign. We get two main reasons for pushback, like why I don't want to be in public service, why I wouldn't even consider it. And one of them is campaigns are scary. I don't want to do fundraising. I don't understand the mechanics of it. I don't want to knock doors. And what we really find is if we can help through Torch to draw back that curtain, to show what the wizard is up to show that this is really just about making a plan and following that plan through, then the campaign is really doable. The hard part of being in public service is making those courageous and extraordinary decisions on the other side. And we know that our Baton Rouge neighbors can do those things.
This is, of course, the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. So obviously education will be the launching pad here, but Torch covers so much more, does it not?
It absolutely does. Torch is for anybody who wants to either be engaged in public service through elected office or who wants to help somebody who might want to be engaged in public service through elected office. So yes, our organization is focused on making sure that every child in Baton Rouge gets an opportunity to live up to their God-given potential. But we know that that means leadership, not just at the school board level. That means leadership for the entire city, everybody pulling in the same direction. And so, this could be people who, if you're one of those folks who have ever had a friend say to you, you should run for whatever it is, mayor, state representative, you name it. If you've ever actually considered that, Torch is a really low risk way for you to explore that possibility, to think about yourself in that role and figure out what it would actually take to get there.
All right, let's dig in on it. Tell me all about the Academy of Politics program, how it maps out, time frame, commitment, and all of it.
So first things first, applications are due on March 21st by 5 p.m. You can go to the website torchbr.org, thetorchbr.org, in order to turn in an application. It is a free program, as you said, so there's no cost. We meet once a month. We meet after hours, so it's after, for a few hours after work, once a month. We're going to bring in experts every single month. You're going to hear from experts in fundraising, in understanding data, like polling, like voter numbers. You'll understand and begin to put together a conversation about why are you running for office, so that if you do get stuck in an elevator with somebody who might cut you a check for your campaign, you can really quickly tell them, this is the reason that I am doing this and why it's so important to me. We'll help you prepare your messaging. They'll learn how to manage their volunteers. All the little bits and bobs that are part of a campaign. It goes on for 7 months, and you'll also be able to not only network with others who might, maybe you're wanting to be an elected official, they could help you with your campaign, but you'll also get the opportunity to talk with Baton Rouge's experts in this field. So the people who do this for a living, they give us their time to come in and help sort of the next generation of leaders and share all their expertise.
We're talking with Liz Smith from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students about the Academy for Politics, the Torch program. What can participants expect during the ride?
I think that you can expect to have an incredibly high quality experience. You will learn the real nuts and bolts. And so, as I said, we pull back that curtain, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to understand exactly how many people you need to talk to in order to win whatever race it is that you might have interest in. So if that's Metro Council or it's school board or if it's state representative or whatever, you name it, dog catcher, you will find out exactly how many people you need to talk to. You'll find out exactly how many times you need to talk to them. All of the real technocratic stuff about running a race, you'll learn how to do. You'll also get an opportunity to really be introspective about what are the things in your community that you want to change and what is the best way for you to make those changes. And when you walk away at the end of it, you'll have joined a network of people because this is our, I think, 5th Torch program.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we've got, 20 people go through Torch. It's a relatively small group. We're very careful about the folks that we put in the program, but it's a relatively small group. So we've got this group of maybe 100, 120 folks who have gone through it in the past. And you will join that network of others who are excited about the future of Baton Rouge, committed to making a change, and who know how to run these campaigns, which is a really niche skill. It's not a skill that lots of people have.
You know, there's a municipality somewhere where a dog catcher is actually an elected position, and
Is it really?
everyone gets to. I can't remember where it was, but everyone gets to use it as a reference now because someone put dog catcher on the ballot.
I love that. I want to go to that place.
I've got to go back and look it up to remember where it was. I looked it up because I didn't think it was like real. It's like dog catcher can't be elected. There's a city that does it. I got to go back and find it again. We're talking with Liz Smith from the Baton Rouge Alliance for Students. Obviously, as the Alliance for Students, school board would be top of mind, and school board is a position where you could do a lot on a grassroots level as well. But Torch isn't limited to that, though.
It's not. We have had people go through Torch who have ended up as state representatives, who have ended up on the Metro Council. It is really something that will prepare you for any type of electoral campaign. Now, we are going to sneak a little bit of information in there about high quality schools and about, why we think that making sure our schools are better is so important to the future of our community, but it's not the main part of what we're trying to do here. Really, what we're trying to do is give people the tools that they need in order to be able to run, because we think that the quality of leadership is really a reflection, or rather your outcomes are a reflection of your quality of leadership. And I think that, folks just get scared. They can't see themselves in that position. They think, oh gosh, I don't know if I could be the one who does that work. But I think about Baton Rouge, and I think about, in particular, like the way we respond to natural disasters in Baton Rouge. We're problem solvers. We're people who help our neighbors. We're some of the most charitable people in the country. And so if we think about public service as an elected official, the same way we think about public service in volunteering for our churches and our civic organizations, we want to encourage people to think about what that 4-year commitment could give and how you can see yourself in that role as a really straight line pathway from your kitchen table like Friday and Ashley to being in that elected leadership position.
See, and this is where, and like you already know this about me, Liz. I hate politics, but I love governance.
Yes.
And this is the hands-on, not how do things play in the media. This is how do things get done.
That's right. That's right. And it's important. That's such an important point when we're thinking about governance, right? Because if you want great leaders, you need people who are not thinking about being in that elected leadership role, right?
Right.
We want people who are just thinking about solving problems for their communities, who are looking around them and saying, you know what, I think maybe I could do this better. And then actually learning how to be in that role so that they can do the governance on the back end. We need people who are going to be able to do the extraordinary things that come with good governance, making hard decisions, working across lines of difference, being courageous and really sticking it out when things get hard. That's the real hard work of politics. It's not getting drowned in sort of the political nonsense. It's doing the hard work, making the hard decisions. And I believe that in Baton Rouge, we have lots of people who are capable of doing that. We just have to give them the tools that they need to be successful.
What are the expectations from the participants?
We expect you to show up and engage, and really that's it. So it's once a month, like I said, just for a few hours after work. We provide dinner so that, you don't have to worry about running from your office or running from work and getting to our office or wherever we're holding the sessions. All of that is taken care of. It's a really wonderful program. It is about the time commitment, and it's about really engaging and thinking critically about, is this something that I want to do, and can I put together the infrastructure to do it? It is also I would say a stepping stone, so if you finish up with Torch and you walk away and you say, you know what, I do want to do this, I am interested in running for public office, well, then we have a lot of resources available to continue to help you take those steps going forward. And so we build that opportunity to help you achieve whatever the dreams are that you might have for how you can serve your community.
Give us the website one more time.
It is thetorchbr.org, and applications are due on March 21st at 5 p.m.
thetorchbr.org. Liz Smith, we greatly appreciate the time and the info.
Always good to talk to you, Brian. Take
Likewise.
care.
Yeah, we'll talk to you
Bye.
soon. We're coming up on 850 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we hit that last check of your money now, got to remind you about the folks over at Cajun Soft Wash. Yes, I know it doesn't feel like springtime outside right now, although that sun is shining and bright and putting a good light on all the ick that is built up around the outside of your house over the course of fall and winter when it is time for spring cleaning, which is probably 2 days from now. Hit up CajunSoftWash.com, CajunSoftWash.com. They've got the tools and they've got the talent, y'all. They safely and effectively remove any mold, mildew, just general grime, that green tinge that builds up over time. And cleaning your house doesn't just make it look pretty. It actually extends the life of both your walls as well as your roof. So check them out online, CajunSoftWash.com, CajunSoftWash.com. Yo, man. I'm going to the River Center. Yeah, let's go. I was all right. Cool. Yeah, it's in the works. And apparently I got to go buy All-Star to pick up my balls and shoes for bowling next week. Lanes, I guess, not Chevy. Oh my God. Cade, I had a great line earlier. I'll say it online now. I'll say it where they, I didn't want to embarrass the people when they were in here. Don Capola was telling me I'm a sweat playing pickleball. I'm like, dude, I sweat every time I work out, man. He goes, you don't know sweat. I said, Don, perps in the Brave Cave sweat less than me.
Dang. It's tough, man. It's tough.
It's never too soon. Yeah.
Whatever happened to Australia?
I don't know. Oh, Murray. Yeah, New Zealand. Murray prisons.
When is the celebrity thing next Friday?
Yeah. Duxbury, Vermont. Yeah, apparently the only place to be elected dog catcher is Duxbury, Vermont. That doesn't sound right. I'm wondering if the one that I knew about is if it's no longer an elected position. Because I was Googling it during the segment. I wasn't getting what I was looking for. All right. Tommy Faucheau featured. Tommy Faucheau is featured. You're all good. Yeah. And you got it in 2 parts, right? You're about to get it? You haven't got it yet? How would it interfere with my... Get it done so we can actually play it. No, don't worry about Tommy Faucheau right now. Get that done so we can do it. Tommy and Friday. Oh, no. Josh and Friday. Yeah, all 3. Is it not recording? Well, because that other pots are going to be in 3 as well, aren't they? Whatever's on. He compares it to the other cities. He's like, I'm judging this on the full scale. Okay. So what's the first part? Well, what's at the very, very beginning of the video? Yeah, but like what he's saying what the place is at the very, very beginning. Yeah. I want from the beginning through great people in there. So we can play that straight from there. Come on. 856 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got one segment to go here. In this segment, we normally do the outside in. Well, this technically is an outside in. John, if you wouldn't mind, hit me with my outside in intro. We are continuing to see the residual effects, the trickle down, if you will, of the Super Bowl. One of the folks who was in for the Super Bowl was Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports. Dave Portnoy. Oh, yeah, and I need the beginning because I need the part about the quarterback. Dave Portnoy is also known not just for Barstool Sports, but doing pizza reviews. He goes to a number of different places and just reviews their pizza. For some reason, he says one bite, everybody knows the rules, and then proceeds to take like 4 bites. But he hit a number of spots in New Orleans and overall was super impressed with New Orleans' pizza scene. But one of the spots along the way, Gio's in Metairie, got this. We're going to play 2 parts of their review real quick. Right from the beginning, as soon as you click on the video, this is what you hear.
Angels and the Royals. Johnny Gipatel, his cousin? Cousin. First pro ball player. Yeah. All right, guys. Here we go. Thank you. Gio's. Not what I was. First of all, great people in there. We landed. I'm in. New Orleans. I don't pronounce it right. New Orleans. Whatever. I don't pronounce it right. I took your quarterback. Whatever. I didn't.
Stop. Stop right there. Stop right there. You jackass. Are you kidding me? Your first stop in New Orleans. First of all, your first stop in New Orleans in Metairie. But the first words out of your mouth, I took your quarterback. You unbelievable D-word. Okay, Gio's Pizza in New Orleans. Let's fast forward now, get to the review.
One bite. Everyone knows the rules. Welcome to Super Bowl week. We have landed. We're ready to go.
There's something else playing under it with me.
The 2 old ladies sitting down at the table talking about how Sicily and this and that with Mike. They're talking Italy. I'm going to have to believe this is as good as we're going to get in Louisiana.
Right at the blocks.
Do you know what this was on the app?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, skip ahead to the score.
7-6.
There you go.
Yeah, I could see that. And by the way, this is a New York, New Jersey scale.
Right there. A New York, New Jersey scale, comparing things to back where, pizza is pizza, right? His first stop in New Orleans gets a 7.6, 7.7 on the score, which, by the way, anything above a 7 is good. Like 8.3 is like the highest he goes. It's a weird scale. Anyway, Gio's Pizza on West Napoleon and Metairie is blowing up now. Absolutely blowing up. Last thing before we get you out of here, I said I was going to give you a nickname for the NHL team coming to New Orleans. Let's call them the Bones. I'll explain why on Facebook Live on air. We'll see you tomorrow. All right.
The Bones.
The Bones. Multiple hits here. Two of the three reasons I want to call them the Bones are about actual bones. New Orleans is known for its cemeteries. Cemeteries are cities of the dead. You're talking about a place full of skeletons. New Orleans is also known for its voodoo. And that involves bones as well. So your logo would be like a skull and crossbones, but not like a dangerous one, like a comical one, right? Now, like, if you're texting somebody, I'm dead, the I'm dead emoji, that one. All right, but also third part here is the music. What's another name for a trombone? Playing that bone. Got that bone. The Bones coming to New Orleans. We'll see y'all tomorrow.